Okay, hello everyone. Here we are with the December Coliseum finals. First match is going to be Agent Shadow taking on Sarpedon from Broken Mesa with Jeffrey here as co-caster. Say hello to everyone, Jeffrey. There's Jeffrey.
Hey guys.
Alright, so without any further ado, let's get this underway.
Establishing battlefield control.
Alright, so Agent Shadow playing Liang, no surprises there. Sarpedon playing Oksana. For those of you wondering, by the way, the Shade and the Razorback are both banned in this tournament. They're just simply both too powerful. There's really no other decks viable. If those units are legal, then that's the only thing anyone should play. It significantly reduces the viability of every other deck. So I've banned those units, and hopefully we should see some better games because of it.
I think you're right, Blade. It makes a lot of sense, especially with the recent balance patch. It should make things pretty interesting overall.
Yeah, and here we see Agent Shadow is playing his classic. This is the deck he played pre-Razorback, which was a Sniper Borka deck. Agent Shadow loves this deck. I've seen him play it absolutely tons of times. He only stopped playing it because Razorback hard countered it. Sarpedon playing a slightly weird deck. We've got a 2/2/2 Nod, but with Tic Tanks instead of Scorpions. What do you think about that, Jeffrey?
Tic Tanks are interesting. I mean, the Tic Tanks really only have 2 targets, and Borka is going to deal with it pretty well, so I'm not so sure Tic Tank's a great choice in general. The Snipers, I mean, this is Agent's classic deck, but Sarpedon does have Venom in his deck, so I don't know. I think Borka is probably going to win this.
Yeah, I think it's tough to say because, like you say, the Venoms are good versus Snipers. You basically need 2 Pitbulls to stop a Venom from being able to suicide dive. Oh, hang on, sorry, here comes the first missile. A nice block from Sarpedon at the top. Oh, and he does take it just in time. Very nice play from Sarpedon.
Yeah, that was very nice. The block on that top pad was really critical.
Yeah.
The laser just held strong against those dogs, so it worked out really well.
Held out just enough time. As I was going to say, normally these sniper decks, one of the things you can do against sniper decks, if they're spamming snipers and pitbulls, which is the main thing they want to do, basically they have to make 2 pitbulls to fight your Venom, and then you make tanks to fight their 2 pitbulls. That's normally how you get ahead against sniper decks. Now, I think the Tic Tac is actually going to be slightly better than Scorpion because it's going to deal with the Pitbulls still. It doesn't need to burrow to fight Pitbulls, but then he's also going to have more health against Orca Bombers. So I actually think Tic Tac could work out better than Scorpion in this matchup.
Well, speaking of that, first Orca Bomber's on. The middle pad's going to take care of this Tic Tank. It's going to take a while. Look at how many shots it takes. Took 4 bombs just to clear it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, right. It's actually doing a pretty good job. That Venom is really low health, though. Will the boosted Banshee take care of this Bork? He's got to push it off, and the Snipers are going to be able to hold for quite a while against these Banshees. So it's looking like Agent's missile, and oh wait, no, Jordan does go down and installs the missile. Bork is in a really awkward spot here. Banshee gets off to that top left. It won't be able to clear the Pitbull in time, and oh wow, that was really close. Bork got onto that pad just in time. Hammer's going to clear this Banshee. Now it looks like Agent's got this pretty comfortably, and there we go. So now Agent coming back, and we've got a 1-1 missile game.
Wow, that was a clutch. That was some clutch plays there. I thought that Agent for sure had it, and then Sarpedon came back nicely, and then Agent managed to just about sneak that Borka onto the bottom right pad, bought himself just enough time. I think Sarpedon misclicked very slightly. There was a moment when his Borka in the middle was, his Banshee was fighting the Borka, and it sort of like started moving and then stopped, and it looked like Sarpedon didn't want to move it there, but accidentally misclicked it. And I think that might have cost him that missile.
I think it did. You could see that the Banshee was going back and forth, not sure of where it was going to go, and it was exactly like you said. I think it was just a misclick from him.
Yeah, really crazy game there. Well, sorry, crazy missile. Really intense. Yeah, could have gone to either player. I think that was... Sarpedon really just had a chance to steal it from Agent Shadow there.
You really did. And, well, we're now moving into the 3rd missile. Sarpedon so far getting all 3 pads of those riflemen on the top left. Banshee and Bike are really low on the bottom, and Banshee does go down to that single missile shot. But Borka is reloaded. It's coming out again. The Venom's going to hold against it, though, of course. Another Tic Tank coming out, and this may hold true what you said earlier, but another Borka has come out, and it will be able to clear this Tic Tank. Does it get it? No, actually, it entrenches first, so it might be able to hold long enough.
What is that boost?
Oh, he moves it out of the way, and now Leandro on that far right will be able to hold against the Bike, but no, it doesn't. Goes down. Banshee's going to come to that middle pad. Bork is about to go down. Can he hold against his Pitbull and Hammerhead? That is the question, and now it's not looking so great for Sarpedon. Doesn't have a really good answer to either of these units. Bork is going to move over to the middle pad, clear those Bikes, but Banshee is going to come in and block it, so that actually worked out quite well. But here we go, Agent's on all 3 pads. Will this Pitbull hold long enough? And no, Hammer's going to destroy that up. And Agent takes the 3rd missile, winning the 1st game.
Wow, I really think that Tic Tank would have held against that Borka. And then Sarpedon boosted it and moved it by accident. And oh my god, so painful for Sarpedon there. Alright, here we are. Game number 2. Agent Shadow versus Sarpedon. This time we're on open water. So yeah, pretty intense game last time. I think we could see the same deck from Agent Shadow that we just saw. I think that deck is way better on this map than it was on the last one. Snipers and Orca Bomber are both significantly better. I mean, Orca Bomber was good on Mesa, but it's not completely insane. Whereas on open water, both of those units are utterly nuts. Sarpedon, I'm hoping we see something a little bit different from him because I don't think that his deck is so good on this map. And we do. We see a Giga deck from Sarpedon. So Giga deck, I think Giga deck is a good choice on this map in general. But if you know Agent Shadow, you know he's going to bring the same deck. Like Agent Shadow plays one deck. He's not a guy who switches deck each game. He plays the same deck all the time. Like now that Razorback is legal, he only plays a Razorback deck with Grenadiers. And when Shade is legal, he only plays a Shade deck. So I think you know what he's playing. And you can predict it and maybe counter it. And since you know he's playing Borka, I'm not sure bringing Giga Cannon is the best play.
I agree with you. The Giga Cannon just hard loses to Borka, of course, for obvious reasons. And Phantom, good choice as well, but the Phantom doesn't one-shot Borka, so that becomes a bit of an issue. He's not going to be able to clear it in time to steal missiles, for example, and the Borka will be able to do that. So yeah, I think overall I favor Agent Shadow even a bit more in this match compared to the first one. But we're about to get to this first missile, and so far Sarpedon does have 2 out of 3 pads. He's got that Giga Cannon on that far right, be able to hold against those missiles, and of course he will be able to hold long enough, I believe, will the Giga Cannon clear in time. But no, Leandro comes down and he's going to lose this missile, and it looks like, yes. So the missiles were just a bit too strong. Giga Cannon could not clear them in time, and that gives Agent Shadow the first missile.
Yeah, I think Sarpedon made a misplay there by saving up for that chemical buggy. He needed to just get something onto the pads. He should have, yeah. Like it was clear his 2 units were not going to live long enough. So he needed to just make something. And he didn't do that in time. He saved up for that Chuggy. Chuggy was too late. If he was going to save for the Chuggy, he needed to boost it to get it to the pads in time. Yeah, here's the first Borka on the field. Agent Shadow's gone double hard, which means he's going to be spamming these things, which is very effective on this map. It's going to be really hard for Sarpedon to fight this.
Yeah, we see the first Phantom come out, doesn't clear the Borka as we talked about earlier, doesn't one-shot, but there we go, boosted Phantom does clear pretty quickly. The reload time on the Phantom is very quick, but he does need to protect the value of these Phantoms. That's going to be very, very important, but here we go, second missile coming down. Can Sarpedon come back? Leandro goes onto the middle pad. Giga Cannon loses to that Borka, and now Leandro will go down to those bikes. Chuggy gets on the far left. It will hold long enough against the Borka. It's not quite reloaded, but Pitbull's coming in to clear it. It doesn't matter. Sarpedon is on all 3 pads, and there we go. It comes back in the second missile. However, we're now going into a third missile against a double Harvester Borka deck. I'm not so sure about this.
It's really going to come down to engagements exactly like the one we just had. If Sarpedon can weather a Borka without losing everything, and then near the end of the missile, then he can win this one. The problem is going to be that we're going to have Hammerhead versus Phantom, and Agent Shadow just has way more money, so he can afford to lose Hammerheads over and over and over as long as they kill Phantom.
Exactly.
And Sarpedon is not in a position to keep rebuilding Phantoms. And that's exactly what we see.
Yeah, so the Hammerheads are doing a pretty good job. Now Leandro on them is going to be able to heal them up. Phantom, both of them go down. So this is where things are starting to fall apart for Sarpedon. He's lost so much value out of those Phantoms, and he really needs them. That is his key unit in this matchup. Bikes won't be enough on their own. However, you know, it's possible he could sneak a missile. We'll see. This Borka is fully reloaded. It's going to clear both these bikes, but he gets them out of the way. However, does lose most of them except for that single bike, and now he's pop capped. Oh boy. Third missile coming down to it, and it's not looking so great here for Sarpedon. He does have a Phantom, but is not going to be able to clear the Borka in time. Timing is very critical here. We'll see. So Phantom gets killed by that Hammerhead. Wheels coming out to try and hold a pad, but Leandro's going to be there. Doesn't really matter too much. Borka's going to clear everything on that middle pad, and here we go. Agent Shadow's going to take this third missile and win the second game.
Yeah, that was a fairly predictable outcome there. Sarpedon didn't really have a great answer to the Orca Bomber. The Giga Cannon was not a great... It's a good choice for the map, but it's not a good choice against Agent Shadow. And unfortunately, yeah, Orca Bomber just once again proving why it's one of the best units in the game. Alright, here we are with the second match. This is Eric versus Benven. We're on Broken Mesa again. All of the first round will be on the same maps. And I'd like to give a shout out to RM Chen, who has heavily supported the prize pool for this month. He's donated, I think, about 150 euros to this prize pool. So yeah, the vast majority of the prize pool is coming from him. So thank you very much, RM Chen. I'd also like to give a shout out to Sarpedon and Jade for making the bot that ran the qualifiers for this event. And also I'd like to say thank you to Extreme Bloodlust, who hosts the bot. And thank you to Davo, who built the original bot that the new bot is based upon.
Wow, lots of support all around.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see.
Everyone really pulling together to make these rivals events come together.
All right, so
right.
looking at the decks, we got Rockworm versus Artillery. This is a matchup I always love to see. Rockworm versus Artillery is always exciting. The only problem for Ben is he's got Venom and Phantom in his deck, and then Eric's got Stealth Tank, so he's really going to have to rely on Rockworm very heavily. Obviously, Rockworm beats Artillery, generally speaking, but what do you make of this matchup in particular with the Stealth Tank?
So I think this is a classic example of playing the player rather than playing the map. Ben knows that Eric always plays Artillery. He's very famous for playing Artillery in almost every game he can. So Ben brought Rockworm specifically to fight him. In terms of the matchup with the Stealth Tank, I think it's interesting that Eric's gone for a slight variation. He normally plays the air version. I think he's gone for the variation of the War Factory to try and throw his opponent. I don't think it's going to make much difference here. The Stealth Tanks are going to be nice versus the Venoms, but I don't think they're going to make that much more difference than the Phantoms would have. I think it's really going to come down to the Rockworm versus the Artillery. And you saw Eric there desperately trying to pop cap Ben, but he wasn't really exploiting it properly. Like, he was being careful not to kill Ben units, but he wasn't charging the pads. And if you're going to force your opponent to be pop capped, you need to take advantage of it by actually getting the game going. Like, you need to get... like, if Ben has no pop cap but nothing's happening, that doesn't really favor anyone. Or more accurately, it favors the person who has the better late game. So I guess Eric thinks it's okay because he thinks his late game is going to be better because he has the Artillery. But I think he's going to be... I think actually Ben's late game is better thanks to the Rockworm.
Well, speaking of late game, Eric does have the first missile under his belt, but I think, like you said, the pop cap really didn't help him too much. It didn't really make much of a material difference at the end of the day. Ben's got tons of money under his belt, but so does Eric, so I think this is where things are going to start to shift.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the Artillery and the Rockworm come out at the same time, and yet there they are.
Oh, there it is.
And Eric is going to be very sad to see this Rockworm coming in, because that is not a good fight for you if you are the Artillery player.
No, and he's boosted the Artillery, so he will have mobility, but he's about to lose the boost. There it goes. So Rockworm's going to catch it now. Moves the Artillery out of the way, does clear the Cyber Wheels, but we got 2 Rockworms on the field, and Eric doesn't have an air unit to hold against it. So these Rockworms are going to be extremely effective from here on out. Clearing that Artillery is also a huge boon for Ben.
Yeah, he also hit a Stealth Tank that was moving through the tile.
Oh, that's
so rough. He actually killed 210 Tiberium in 1 hit.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think that might be it for Eric. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to come back from that one.
I don't think so either. Stealth Tank doing 2,000 damage per volley isn't enough to clear Rockworm's 5,000 health reliably. So these Rockworms are going to hold real steady, and that's what we're seeing right now. Those lasers on the top pad with the Rockworm on the middle with the lasers that support it are going to hold very, very easily against all these units that Eric's bringing, which so far has been Stealth Tank, Artillery, Wheels, and Militants. But there we go. Ben's got the second missile, and, well, he's just going to continue to pump out these Rockworms.
Yeah, I mean, Rockworm is, in terms of its stats, it's actually a disgusting unit. Like, if you, it's not supposed to be good versus infantry, but if you watch these lasers, they're going to get maybe 1 shot off if they walk into this Rockworm. It does so much damage. It's just absolutely crazy.
It is, yeah. Yeah, not only that, the Rockworm does AoE damage, right? So it's going to clear all of them, just like we see with those Militants on that top left. It's going to clear them all in 1 single shot, so...
Yeah, it takes 2 shots to clear lasers, but with the pop-up damage, I think it's only 1. We'll see here. Oh, we didn't see it. Yeah, there it is. Kills the whole squad in 1 shot, effectively. It genuinely is a terrifying unit. And I think Ben picks the right unit to fight his opponent. Normally Eric brings laser drones and would have a chance, but yeah, nothing you can do here.
And even with laser drones, he had Phantom. So with the Rockworm to basically block for the Phantom would have been able to clear the laser drones pretty reliably. So even from there, I think it would have been challenging. But he did need something like that, right? Like laser drones or well, Shade if it wasn't banned, but something air-wise like Inferno perhaps to hold against them.
Alright, game 2 of Eric versus Ben. This time we're on open water. So both players have actually switched to GDI this time. I'm surprised to see Ben playing Strong Arm. I think this is one of the worst Strong Arm maps in the game. There's almost nowhere good to put a turret. It's very easy to ignore turrets from your opponent. So I really don't like Strong Arm on open water.
I agree, yep.
I would expect that he's simply just picked a deck that usually plays Strong Arm and therefore hasn't bothered changing Strong Arm. Okay, so we see a Zone Trooper splash deck from Ben, and Eric's playing Air Mammoth. Alright, so I heavily favor Eric in this one.
I do too. Yeah,
I think
obviously
that,
for the reason that Zone Troopers get squished by Mammoth Tank,
Yep.
so is that his late game's gone. As
Yep.
soon as Mammoth Tank moves out, that's probably game. Orcas just aren't enough against Hammerhead.
Yeah,
And,
that's pretty much it. I mean, Orca. If you have a huge lead when the Mammoth Tank comes out, you can throw like 4 Orcas into a Mammoth Tank and just kill it and win the game. But you need to be sitting on what is that? 210 Tiberium or something?
Right.
No, it's more than that, right? 280 Tiberium, sorry. Yeah, you need to be sitting on 280 Tiberium when the Mammoth Tank comes out, and then you need to just be able to go quad Orca. Alright, so we see Eric make a second Harvester. Pretty reasonable to try and make the second Harvester within the first minute of the game. Eric's going to really struggle from here on out. He's going to be trying to stall, but he's not really going to make much headway on the pads. It's unlikely he gets any more stall out of this game. He'd be very lucky to make this missile go yellow again.
I agree. He's got defender's position on those militants. Turret comes out, we'll be able to clear those missiles. So far this is working out pretty well. Charge time, we're at a minute 15. Missile's not completely off, so it's not too bad. He just needs to get this missile, and it looks like he will. These drones are going to be able to hold against those missiles, of course. And with that middle pad secured by those militants, he takes the first missile.
Yeah, 121 is an okay first missile time. I think both players are okay with this, honestly. Like, Benven's probably not too unhappy. It wasn't the slowest missile ever, and Eric's probably okay with the amount of stall he got. I gotta say, man, I think Eric's got this one. Like, he's about to make the Mammoth Tank. The missile is stalled again, which is not where you want to be if you're Benven.
I agree. Yeah, Zone Troopers are out, but they're not going to be enough. Second Harvester comes out, he rebuilds it, but he's about to lose that other one. One more shot from the Pitbull, it will, but he does manage to block it from the missiles. But Pitbull should get it. There it goes. And that's actually pretty good, but like you said, he's got all the money he needs. So first Mammoth Tank is out, and if he can clear this Mammoth Tank, Benven might be able to win this, but we'll see. Will he get more value out of that Mammoth Tank than he will out of his zones? That's really the question. So here we go. Hammerhead's going to meet that Orca. It's going to clear. It doesn't even get his... Oh, it actually will get his volley off, so that's good for Ben. He doesn't lose too much value out of it. But here we go. Mammoth Tank is now going to be a big stalwart. This is a big problem. Has so much health. It's going to be able to clear just about everything. Can he block these Zone Troopers? So this is the problem, right? He's on this middle pad with this Hammerhead and the Mammoth Tank, and now he's got the missiles on that far right. So he's going to be able to hold steady. Can this Orca get there? I don't think it will. And if he loses this missile, I think that's it. Oh, wait a minute. He loses the Mammoth Tank, and maybe he can do it. He's going to clear that Hammerhead, and here we go. He's got this middle pad. He does it. Oh,
wow,
man.
really well played by Ben there. He managed to keep his zones alive away from the Mammoth Tank the whole time. And I think Eric threw that one. Like, there was a moment where he shot the Orca and didn't kill it. Like he shot the Orca twice and left it on like 1 hit point. Didn't finish it off. It managed to get the whole volley on the Mammoth Tank, and that's why his Mammoth Tank died. If his Mammoth Tank had the extra hit points, he would have won that game. All right, here we are with the first match of Sam's the Dog versus Suzaku, or first game, I should say. Suzaku is playing Jade Chems, which is exactly what I expected him to play. I didn't want to say it until the game had started, but yeah, Suzaku loves Jade Chems. It's pretty much his go-to deep comfort deck. No idea what Sam is playing yet. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right, let's have a look. So we've got, okay,
Ooh,
so Inferno with
Infernos.
Stealth Tank. And then, yeah, Suzaku playing that real classic Jade deck. Yeah, overall, the Stealth Tank's good, but it depends on really when the Infernos come out. So, I don't know. I think overall, Suzaku's probably slightly favored, because if he wins his first missile aggressively, he can go for the base. But Sam's the Dog could do the same thing, so I'm not sure. Which one do you favor?
I think that laser drones just make it... Laser drones are too good versus Nod, so I don't think Sam's can possibly be favored here. Laser drones are just too strong. He doesn't have a good answer to laser drones, really. Like, Nod just doesn't. Nod struggles really hard with laser drones. So I think Suzaku is favored based off of that. If there weren't laser drones, if they were something else, I think I would favor Sam, because I think the Inferno is a really clean answer to the Chems. But yeah, with laser drones, it's just so hard to fight laser drones as Nod.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, these Chem Warriors, that's really the thing, right? Like, they do cost 60, they are expensive. Inferno deals with them really, really well. But yeah, like you said, the laser drones are going to be a big problem for Sam. Even though he does have Stealth Tank, the problem is you're spending a lot of cash to deal with a 20 cost unit.
Yeah,
so,
and then a new one turns up and finishes off your Stealth Tank. If he had Banshee, maybe, but like, there should not be a Banshee in Sam's deck. I'm just saying, like, that's the best unit against laser drones for Nod.
Okay,
can
so
see-
Suzaku clears the middle pad,
Yeah.
and looks like he's going to take this first missile, and yep, there we go.
You can see,
Suzaku gets
honestly,
the
like,
first missile.
the chems are a big deal. They are difficult to deal with, but the wheels could fight the chems if there weren't laser drones around. It really is the laser drones
Right.
that are the backbreaker in this matchup. And I think this chem base kill is just gonna... I think this is gonna be enough. This is so many clouds. Yeah.
Well, he got that extra cloud on those wheels,
Yeah.
which, you know, Sam, that's one thing you got to be mindful of is do not want to get extra clouds. So even though I think it wouldn't have mattered, I believe with 2 chem warriors and 3 clouds on the base, I think that would clear it, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, here we go. The second game. Sam's the dog versus Suzaku. Both players have switched to GDI here. Sam playing Solomon, Suzaku playing Liang. Liang is the best commander in the game, but Solomon on this map is excellent. So I'm excited to see what Sam's the dog has in store for us.
3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Okay, so we've got Sniper Borka from Suzaku. This is actually my Sniper Borka deck that I recommended he play. Not in this game, obviously, but like in the tournament yesterday. I recommended he play this deck. And Sam's the dog is playing a fairly standard Solomon deck. Super cheap, really efficient. It's got jump jets. Most Solomon decks play jump jets. Yeah, pretty standard Solomon deck. A little bit weird not having missiles, but other than that, pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, Suzaku's got way better late game, of course, but Solomon's interesting. So I think the idea is kind of, this is like, I'm trying to remember the name of the player. I think it was Porkypix who used to play a really cheap Solomon deck and went for missile flips.
He did,
So
yeah.
I suppose if you can pull that off, it might work out. I mean, Suzaku's got some pretty expensive units in his deck, so there is a possibility for Sam's dog to get some pretty good value out of that ion cannon. And we're on open water as well, right? Like you say, the pads being so close together means that Solomon can work pretty well. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting overall.
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, since the Solomon changed to the area damage, so it does scaling damage downwards based on the amount of like based on the distance from the middle tile. Since they made that change, Solomon, it's kind of bugged on how much base damage it does now.
Oh, so close. So we've got the missed block there in the middle pad. The Pitbull managed to get on there just in time, and now snipers are out, but the jump jet's not a great answer to these snipers, of course. It will get on the pad. Solomon coming down. It's going to clear snipers and the dog, and actually that might be enough, but oh, he's not on the pad though, and now if he loses these jump jets, he's got to clear them. So this is not looking good for Sam's dog. He doesn't have a really good answer. Pulls a harvester to get on that left pad. That is really good. Will this Pitbull last long enough? I don't believe it will. No. Now Suzaku being on all 3 pads with that Pitbull in the middle to block gives him that first missile.
Yeah, I think Sam went for a slightly too greedy iron cannon there, and Suzaku was able to save a single sniper model and his Pitbull.
Yeah.
And that was just too much. Like, Sam needed to get more value out of that iron cannon. I think he was trying too hard. And he iron cannon on a tile that had no units on it in the hopes that the side tiles would all get hits. And obviously Suzaku was able to move some units out of the way in time.
That's all he needed to do, right? Was just move 1 unit, make sure he had at least 1 to get back onto the pads, and then that was pretty easy for him to win that missile from there.
Sam's the dog should have aimed for just killing everything that was on the middle and forcing the snipers back a tile, because then he could have moved on to the 2 tiles and won the missile.
Right.
He got too greedy with his iron cannon.
Well, and even though Sam's dog does have a cheap deck, he's about to lose his harvester. There it goes. The Predator tank does clear it. Jump jets get that Pitbull on the far left as well. But now we got the first Borka on the field with double jump jet from Sam. And he's down a harvester, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to rebuild one anytime soon. Talons is really only answer to this Borka, but the Pitbull will be able to deal with it pretty quickly, only needing 4 shots to clear it. And here we go. So now Suzaku's pretty comfortable. He's got that Liang drone healing up the Borka if he needs it. These jump jets really don't have a good target. And it looks like Sam's dog's going to lose this. And yeah, there we go.
Suzaku does take
takes the
it.
second missile. Yep.
Yeah, like I say, I think Sam got a little too greedy with his iron cannon. If he had won that first missile, I think he could have gone for a base kill, but losing first missile. All right, here we are with Victor versus Greeno. This is the last of the round of 8. So we're going to have Sarpedon playing Eric off stream in the losers bracket, and Sam's the dog will play the loser of this off stream in the losers bracket. So those games will not be covered, but I will keep you updated on who wins them. And we're seeing a Seth mirror. I like Seth a lot on this map. I think Seth is a great choice for Broken Mesa. This is
For sure it is.
Broken Mesa is a slightly weird map where I would describe it as both an aggro map. It's kind of like an aggro map that also kind of works for double harvester. So it's like a little bit weird kind of a dual role map. But I would always favor an aggro deck on this map. I think things like Seth and cheap, quick air units are really where you want to be, because the free pads are not close together. It's quite difficult to split your units between them. So you need to... Yeah, whenever you're fighting on Broken Mesa, you need fast units that can get places on their own quickly. So interestingly there, the bikes fired a single missile at the wheels and then 2 missiles at the enemy bike squadron. But then Victor didn't fire back.
At the right time, they do miss.
Yeah, Victor didn't fire back, and with the new way that bikes work with the nerf, it now takes 3 bike missiles to kill a bike instead of 2. So Victor, by losing a bike, doesn't even kill one of Greeno's with the volley back.
Ooh. No kidding. Yeah, I didn't really think about the change in the recent balance patch.
Yeah.
But that's pretty significant. So
it changes how bike mirrors play out like quite substantially. They're like a lot slower than they used to be, and you're much more likely to be left with a one-man bike squadron than you used to be. Right.
Well, speaking of that, Victor does get this first missile. He cleared the South Triple Pod, came down just in time, but wasn't super effective. However, he got that lasers on the bottom pad against the Scorpion tank, so having cleared the middle pad, he was able to take that comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to clear off those fanatics on the middle, and Greeno just didn't get another unit there in time, basically. And now Victor with his favorite unit in the game, which is the Inferno. Victor loves the Inferno.
He does, yeah. It's going to get a shot up on these lasers, clearing them first. It's at almost full health, so he's able to maintain the value, but he's got to be careful with his Phantom. Of course, running on a single Harvester means he's not going to be able to spam these Infernos very, very much, so he does have to make sure he protects this thing. But that boosted Phantom, look at it go. It's very, very quick. About to get his volley off, and there it goes, clearing the Inferno. And that is not great for Victor. So this is where things might be a bit of an issue. As long as he can maintain pad control, though, he should be able to get this. But you see the first Seth Through Pod coming down from Greeno.
Yeah, Greeno did... He suicided the Fanatics into the flames to get that boost, so it was quite an expensive kill on that Inferno.
Yeah.
Got the middle. So can he get top? Just about.
The boosted flames get there. The speedy flames make it, but Inferno's about to clear this middle pad, actually only taking out a single Fanatic model. Not great value, but doesn't matter. He's been able to hold against everything here with those wheels on the top clearing the flames, and now the Inferno held against the Phantom, and there we go.
Yeah, Victor had good matchups on all 3 pads there, and Greeno not able to clear that Inferno with a single Phantom volley. Alright, here we are. Game 2, Victor versus Greeno. The Victor has swapped out to his Solomon deck. Victor, well known for being a Solomon player. One of the old school Solomon players, along with Mav and... Who's the other guy? I guess Porkapix? That's pretty much the only people who ever play Solomon.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. Reb plays Solomon now all the time. That's the guy. Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Solomon I like a lot on this map. I think it's a good choice. Looks like we've got, because Greeno's gone for a Borka. I like Greeno's deck a lot if he was playing against the previous deck. It's actually almost a mirror match. The only difference is Orca versus Orca Bomber and the Commanders.
Yeah, I think it's tough to say. Borka's going to have mostly just the Pitbulls and the Jump Jets to deal with. Orcas are not going to really do a whole lot. It's just going to have Pitbull to deal with. So I think Orca Bomber is a bit more effective just because it can deal with infantry a lot better for obvious reasons. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the commander difference does matter as well. Solomon could play a material role. Just depends on how Victor plays it.
It does. It does. I mean, like the Orca Bomber is basically a repeatable iron cannon. I gotta say, man, I think it's gonna, like you say, it's gonna come down to the Solomon. If the Solomon play is clutch, then Victor's gonna take it. If not, then I think the Orca Bomber is gonna take the game.
Yeah, so, I think so.
Interesting tech switch from Greeno there. He sees a Talon and decides to go Talon to fight it instead of continuing to use Pitbulls. Maybe because Victor has the Jump Jets on the field.
That could be why. Well, so far it's working out. He's got all 3 pads, and these double Talons are going to be able to hold against the missile, but doesn't look like Victor's going to get there in time. Nope. Talon did prove to be a pretty good tech switch overall.
Yeah, the Talon was a great choice there. Talon is just a fantastic unit. Like, if you're in high-level play, if you know how to use Talons, they're just really good. They're so efficient. They're so cheap. Yeah, like if you're good at the game, then you know you can make Talons look very strong.
Definitely, yeah. For a 30 cost unit, it does so much damage, doing nearly 300 damage per shot to air units. You know, like, and we're with units, for example, like Banshee only having 1200 health. It's a pretty effective unit in general. But yeah, so far what we're seeing is Victor wasn't able to get his Solomon off, so that first missile went to Greeno pretty comfortably. Talons were very, very good. But now we're starting to see things shift just a little bit. Victor's got to be careful of the units he builds because he does need to maintain as much money as he can to get to that ion cannon, as that is part of his win condition. But so far, Greeno's doing a really good job of pressuring, and you know what? Victor's still quite a ways away from his ion cannon.
Yeah, and we haven't seen an Orca Bomber yet from Greeno, which I'm a little surprised by. I think that if he doesn't use the Orca Bombers, then Victor is going to be favored because he can use Orcas to one-shot pit bulls, which is going to be a problem for Greeno. So I think Greeno needs to make use of his Orca Bomber to really, like, that is his trump unit, is the Orca Bomber. Right. But he really needs to be making use of it. Like, it'll kill everything except Talons, so I'm surprised we haven't seen one yet. Oh, here it comes.
Yep. Oh, finally. All right. So now Boar Orca Bomber coming out is going to be a big problem for Victor. Will be able to clear everything, and it's going to. That boost is going to get into position very, very quickly. However, it's losing its low. Will it clear this extra Pitbull? No, it doesn't look like it will. So he backs it off. That Pitbull does survive with a sliver of health. Double Talon coming out, pushes back the Orca Bomber. But now, it's Solomon, but it's not going to be there in time.
Ooh, missed everything.
Yeah, just about missed everything except for that Talon, but can he hold this middle path? That is the question. Talon's coming out, and another Pitbull to support. That Pitbull does go down, but a reloaded Pitbull with a Orca coming behind, it's going to be very, very effective. And now the Orca Bomber is going to clear both these jump jets and the Pitbull, and it's not looking so great. Talon won't clear that Orca Bomber in time. He's got those jump jets on the middle pad. Double Talon won't be enough, and there we go. Greeno takes the second missile, coming back.
And I think, as predicted, that came down to the clutch Iron Cannon. The Iron Cannon was not clutch. It did almost nothing. And that's why I'm pretty sure that's why he lost. All right, here we are with the third and final game, Victor versus Greeno. Pretty exciting. First time we're going to see it go to game 3, and so we're going to be on Rorschach. And we've got Victor playing Liang, Greeno on Oksana. I suspect we'll see Orca Bomber from Victor this time. He loves bombers. I think he's regretting not playing a bomber last time after losing to one. No idea what Greeno is going to play though.
3, 2, 1. New objective.
All right, so it's Basilisk. Okay, that's kind of insane. I think that's a weird choice, a really weird choice. Maybe Greeno thought Victor was going to play Mammoth, but again, this is another scenario where you got to play the player. Like Victor always plays Bomber decks, or Solomon deck. Like he either plays super cheap Solomon deck or he plays Bomber decks. So Basilisk is unlikely to be good versus either of the things he's doing, because either he's going to have an Iron Cannon or he's going to be playing Air as his primary fighter. So yeah, I think poor choice from Greeno based on the fact he's going up against Victor. Good, like reasonable choice for the map, because people will often play Mammoth on this map, but Victor just doesn't. Victor is not a guy who plays Mammoth tanks, so.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the first time we're seeing Greeno in the Coliseum. I think it's also the first time I've seen him in competitive play at all. So he may just be a bit inexperienced. He may not be familiar with the players in this tournament. But yeah, overall, you know, Victor's got a huge advantage from his deck.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. I think that there's not too many people who take a, pay attention to the decks people play. But it's such a big edge if you do. I mean, Lepaka, like Lepaka's a great player, but he loves that chuggy mutant deck, and he basically plays it all the time. If you know he's bringing that and you bring the answer, then you just get such a huge edge right away.
Yep. Well, speaking of edge, Victor's got this first missile under control pretty reliably. The middle pad will get cleared eventually. The Pitbull's going to hold steady against those bikes with the snipers to support. Double Pitbull comes out now. Will be able to clear these bikes and the sniper wheels. He gets onto that far right pad as well, just to make sure he's got this missile. And here we go. First missile goes to Victor.
Yeah, without tanks, Greeno really doesn't have a good answer to Pitbull sniper missile. Like normally what you'd want to do is make tanks to clean up those Pitbulls, but he's opted for Basilisk as his expensive unit over Scorpion tank. Because obviously this is Fnatic aggro, but he's got Basilisk instead of a Scorpion tank. If he had Scorpion tank, he could have used that to fight for the first missile, and it would have been an extremely effective unit. But he's decided to go for the Basilisk instead, and I think we see him saving here for it now. He isn't making any units. He's just built his air tower without making a Phantom, which is almost certainly a prelude to him making his tech lab.
Unit ready.
I think you're right. Yeah, it does cost 60 with the 4-building deck. And here we go. So Basilisk is going to come out, but it's really only got the Pitbull to deal with. However, maybe he's going to go after and deal with and pressure the Harvesters. That could be effective, but Victor answers with a Hammerhead, and here it comes. Hammerhead will be able to deal with this Basilisk very reliably. It's a great answer to it, of course. And without any really quick options, like Phantom, for example, available to him, he's not going to be able to clear the Hammerhead before he gets Basilisk. And there goes. Basilisk down, 120 Tiberium down the drain. Victor's got this Orca Bomber coming out, and he's got a pretty good foothold on this map. And Cyber Wheels shouldn't make it in time. Nice block with the Pitbull there. And yep, Victor takes this second missile, winning the third game and this first series.
That was a good play by Greeno to make the Fanatics directly before the Basilisk to make sure he instantly got a boost. And then it was really tight play by Victor to not move the Orca Bomber over, because he would have cleaned up his own units there. allowed Greeno to get back on the pads, and he realized that, and then left his Orca Bomber on that back pad. But yeah, that was pretty much that was a very, very poor deck matchup for Greeno. Like he couldn't, his deck was not good against what Victor ended up bringing, unfortunately. Hammerhead was just too much of a hard counter for him. All right, here we are with the first of the winners bracket quarterfinals. No, I guess it's like a winners bracket semi-finals. Yeah, because the winners of this will go on and play the finals of the winners bracket, which will not be the grand finals. This is obviously, I don't know why I'm saying this is going to be confusing. Here we go, Agent Shadow versus Benven, round 2 of the winners bracket. Got Agent Shadow playing Jade. Oh my god, I'm very surprised by this. So Agent Shadow is choosing not to play his standard sniper deck this time. He's gone for the Suzaku laser drone deck. And Benven's playing snipers. So I actually think Benven's got a huge edge in this one. Snipers are one of the best answers to the laser drone Jade deck. The laser drone Jade deck is in fact just insane versus Nod, and not that good versus GDI, because GDI can answer laser drones so easily. As long as GDI can beat the chems, it's actually a pretty good matchup for the GDI player. And Benven has the snipers, so he can beat chems. I will say, very, very dislike on rifles over dogs in a sniper deck. I think that's a big mistake, because these rifles are not going to be able to hold off chem troopers, and you're about to see that here. The chems can just plow through the rifles because they're infantry, and they don't block. And the same is true for missiles. Like Benven needs vehicles to block chems or snipe, or he's not going to be able to hold them off long enough.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to rely on Slingshot, which we see the War Factory going up now. So it looks like that's what he's gonna move into next, or Predator tank. But no, he goes into double sniper, which you know, like you said, he does need a vehicle to block for these snipers to maintain their value, and these triple chems might be a big problem. So now the chem warriors push over. Langdor's getting on the far left pad and start charging again for Ben, but the militants are gonna get on there. Slingshot needs to get onto this middle pad. Will the snipers clear it in time? It's so close. That chem cloud, they need to stay in position. They might go down, but now he moves onto the pad. However, chem warriors are going to clear them very, very quickly. These chem warriors are going to clear the missiles on the top right, and I think Agent Shadow's got this. Not having access to dogs is going to be a big problem. And yes, he does get on the middle pad, but it doesn't really matter. There we go. Agent Shadow takes the first missile.
And that is exactly what I was talking about. Like, literally, we just saw exactly the problem. If you are blocking with riflemen, they just don't live long enough. They just go down so far. You can just swarm snipers with chems if the blocker is not a vehicle. And Benven doesn't even have the Pitbull, which almost all sniper decks play, which would be a great roaming unit to put in front of his snipers, because then it would also defend against other things. Like, Slingshot is not a good roaming unit to put in front of snipers.
And look at this pressure, right? That, like you talked about, those chem warriors being a big problem. These snipers do finally manage to push them back, but again, Agent's just going to continue to pump out these chem warriors. He's a very, very skilled player, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. But Benven finally pulls out his first Predator tank, and this might help a lot, but he does need to be careful. He's lost some missiles, so if he does get to the base, Agent Shadow that is going to be game over for Benven. So this second missile is going to be really critical. Now he gets those chem warriors up to that top left lane drone, heals that Predator tank, will be able to hold against the chems. Tries to get a single chem warrior there, but of course the choke point on this map means that it doesn't get there in time. And now it looks like Benven's going to take this missile. However, we're going to see laser drones spam from Agent Shadow, and he's going to go forward base rush, but the Slingshot, will it win against the laser drones? That's the question.
Yeah, I actually think Benven... So Agent Shadow intentionally is forcing Benven to make a lot of snipers here, so that he hasn't got an answer to these laser drones. But obviously Benven already had a Slingshot on the field. Benven actually made a huge misplay by moving this two-man sniper squad out of the cloud. He should just let it die. Like, it's 2 men sniper squad. It's on about 2 hit points. It's just a useless unit. He should just let it go. And it's going to really hurt him having this useless pop cap. But we see in action there the Jade nerf. The missile barely does anything to the base. And yeah, it looks like if Benven can hold here, he could win this.
Oh, it's gonna be so close.
Oh, and again, there it is. There's the nerf. There's the Jade nerf. It just doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as it used to.
Now,
oh no, these laser drones.
In time. This is the question. The Sandstorm's in position, and it looks like he's got this, but it's so close.
Wow. Crazy game. And that exactly there is why Jade got nerfed. So you couldn't do that nonsense strategy of getting no chems to the base and still winning. And there you see it. No chems get to the base. Base does not die to catalyst missiles. Fantastic nerf. I'm not saying that there doesn't need to be more nerfs, but like that is exactly why that change happened. So you couldn't do that strategy anymore. All right, here we go with the second game. Benven versus Agent Shadow. This time we're on Eruption. Agent Shadow has gone back to Liang, so I suspect we'll see his classic Sniper Borka deck. Benven also playing Liang. Might see the same deck from Benven.
3, 2, 1. New objective available.
Alright, and we do see the same deck from Benven, except he swapped out the Riflemen's for Dogs, which I think is a great change. Big fan of that one. And Agent Shadow is not playing his classic Borka deck. He's actually playing Slingshots and Sandstorm instead. So both players are going to be trying to live the Sandstorm Sniper life with Liang. Very close to a mirror match. Benven has Predator Tank, where Agent Shadow has Pitbull. This is a massive, massive advantage for Benven, because there's no air units in the game. So both players' Slingshots are dead. But then Agent Shadow's Pitbull is going to be worse than Predator Tank in this matchup, I think.
Big time.
Although it is going to be cheaper, so nah, Predator Tank 2 shots a Pitbull. Predator Tank should be way better in this matchup, I think.
Yep, I agree with you. I think Predator Tank is going to be a huge difference in this matchup. I mean, it's pretty much the only difference that we have. We have pretty much the same deck from both players. And also, key difference, we got Benven pulling out the double harvester earlier than Agent Shadow, so that means he's going to get to his late game sooner, and that's great for him overall, too. Because he does have a slightly expensive unit in the Predator tank. So overall, I think Ben's playing this a little bit better than Agent Shadow. We'll see what happens, though. We got the first missile coming down. Dogs are about to lose to these missiles, and the Predator tank's going to clear this sniper, and one more shot, there it goes. Will the dog get on there? It doesn't matter. Of course, the Predator tank with the Liang drone on the far right means that Benven gets his first missile.
Yeah, it looks like Agent wasn't too fast about this first missile. He didn't commit to it. He just wanted this Sandstorm as quickly as possible. I'll also say that, actually, Sandstorm can lose to Predator Tank. Predator Tank is a very, very beefy unit. Sandstorm will beat most cheap units, but Predator Tank is one of the exceptions. A couple of Predator Tanks can take down a Sandstorm. Obviously, with Liang drone, it's going to be much harder. Like, that Sandstorm was down to like half life and is already back to full. It's already fully healed that Predator shot, and there's still half a Liang drone to go. So now we're going to see Sandstorm on Sandstorm action. If Benven can support his Sandstorm with Predator, he's going to be in really good shape here. I'm not even sure this is good to get a 2v1 for Agent Shadow, because it just means the Benven's Sandstorm is effectively doing double damage.
Look at how much it's healing. That is just crazy.
Liang drone is out healing a Sandstorm. Yeah, the Liang drone just out healed a Sandstorm. The Liang drone is so unbelievably broken. Like, it's just, honestly, the person who's going to win each matchup is going to be the person who just has the Liang drone still. Although, Agent Shadow just mistargeted, started firing at the Harvester. He's shooting the Harvester.
Oh, what is he doing?
Oh my god, what is he doing?
These missiles will get on there, but the snipers are going to clear
He's
these missiles.
The again.
But it doesn't really matter. All he needs to do is clear that bottom hex, and he's going to block. There we go. Sandstorm's in position. He moves the other Sandstorm.
Oh no, he doesn't get it.
Get on there. However, we got to retarget the Sandstorm onto the other Sandstorm. He's
shooting the Harvester. Stop shooting the Harvesters, guys. It doesn't matter.
Right? Okay, so Sandstorm does move over, does block these missiles, and there we go. Benven takes the second missile.
Wow. And there it is. And that's it. Benven wins the match. Agent Shadow goes to losers bracket.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Well played,
Benven slaughters Agent Shadow there in a Sandstorm mirror. Alright, here we are. Suzaku versus Victor Bansamir on the winners bracket round of 4. Both players playing Liang. We're going to see a lot of Liang today, I think. Liang is just broken. It's just the best commander in the game. It's not even close anymore. Like, the most recent nerf that actually buffed him to 40 cost was just insane. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of Liang today. Alright, so we see Victor with a Borka deck, classic Victor. And Suzaku's gone for the same sniper deck as before, but he's playing Hammerhead instead of Borka. I think that is in anticipation of Victor, because he knows Victor's going to play a bomber. So he wants an answer to a bomber.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
I think that's why he's gone for this deck.
Be useful.
Yeah, Hammerhead's going to be great here.
But the question is, does Suzaku clear the slingshots reliably so that Hammerhead can clear the Borkas, or does the slingshot win that matchup?
That's the question.
You know, like, it's going to come down to micro, of course, and both of these players are really strong micro players. I'd say I have to give the edge to Suzaku slightly in that department, but it's slight. It's not a huge difference.
I would also give. I think if both players are playing at peak performance, I think Suzaku's deck comes out ahead, because what's going to happen is you're going to have an Orca Bomber trying to move in and being blocked off by a Hammerhead, and then you have to move up the slingshots to fight the Orca Bomber, at which point it bombs your own slingshot.
All right, so first missile coming down. Leandro gets on that far left. Will it hold in time? And it does. The missiles just couldn't make it there in time.
That was very close.
Received.
It was super close, right? That
Yeah.
Lean drone had gone down a split second sooner. That missile would have flipped, but Suzaku
Yeah, the Predator as well. The
gets
Predator
it.
and the Liang drone both lived just long enough to fire that missile. That was
Yeah.
really close. But yeah, what I was saying is I think the way the matchup plays out is you have to move the slingshot up to fight the hammerhead, at which point the hammerhead retreats. When the Orca Bomber tries to come in, it accidentally bombs the slingshot, and then the hammerhead can come back in. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It depends if we even get to that stage. Like, at the moment, we're just having a War Factory mirror, so we might not even see that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
like you
and he
said,
gets
neither
the
player has built their
Harvester.
element. Oh, that's really good, actually.
That's a
That could
big
start to
deal.
swing things
That is a
over,
big
'cause
deal in
he's
this
going to
matchup. Because both players want to make a very expensive air unit, and Suzaku can only answer an expensive air unit with his own expensive air unit. As you see, the Bork comes in, Suzaku's nowhere near being able to make a hammerhead. I think that Harvester kill might actually be completely critical to this victory.
Yeah, at least for this missile anyways. Well, so here we go. Second missile about to fire. Leandro gets on that far left, but it's not going to hold against those missiles for very long. Leandro on the far right comes down. Bork is going to clear those missiles, and there we go. Missiles on the middle pad secure the second missile for Victor. And you know what? Like you said, that Harvester kill was pretty important. He couldn't build a hammerhead. Didn't have the money to do it. So now things are going to start to become pretty difficult with Victor's pressure on that Harvester again.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
there we go.
yeah, Suzaku needs hammerhead to fight these Orca Bombers, and he just can't afford it because Victor's putting so much pressure on. I think
Yep.
this Harvester kill is what's going to end up killing him.
And look at this Borka. It survived so much. Doesn't get his third volley off. That doesn't matter. It's got so much value.
Oh,
And
two
now,
more bombers immediately.
Look how much money he's got. Victor's got 200 Tiberium right now after purchasing 2 Orca bombers. I mean, yeah, this is not looking good for Suzaku. He can only rely on really, really cheap units, and I think this is a game. I don't see how he wins this.
Yeah, I think that another third Borka comes in. That bounty was just too much. Suzaku needed to make hammerhead to fight the Orca Bomber, and I think the Orca Bomber wouldn't have come out. The Orca Bomber wouldn't have come out without the bounty kill money, and then he wouldn't have needed the hammerhead. But the bounty money was, yeah, it was too much. All right, here we go. Suzaku versus Victor, game 2. We're on Eruption. Victor is up 1-0. Victor is playing Liang again. I suspect we'll see exactly the same or very similar deck. And Suzaku going with Seth this time. Not a huge fan of Seth on this map, actually. It is a free pad map, and the pads are kind of split up, but it's a very, very centralized map. Like, all the action happens in the middle pad because of the way the map is designed. Because the rocks block the bottom, there isn't that much room to get around the top. Pretty much everything happens on this middle pad. So I actually really like combined arms style decks for this map. Yeah, Victor does bring the same deck. Suzaku going with Basilisk. Not sure why we've seen Basilisk twice today, but there you go.
I think he was expecting Mammoth Tank, but
this is Victor. We already talked about this today. Victor doesn't Mammoth Tank. Victor plays Bomber decks. So Basilisk doesn't make any sense against him. Now, that's not to say that the Basilisk is going to be terrible. Basilisk does beat everything and doesn't die to Orca Bomber. So if Suzaku plays it properly, this Basilisk could be very good. And he is going double Harvester, so he is planning to be a Basilisk boy. That is his game plan.
Yeah, I think so. I think actually Basilisk could be very effective. It's going to depend on will he be able to get it out in time, or is Victor going to push him off the map? If Victor can maintain the pressure like he did in that first game, then there's no way Suzaku wins this. But if he does get Basilisk out, he's going to shut down 3 very important units for her, which is mostly Slingshot and Predator Tank. But you know, dealing with those War Dogs to open the way for anything else to deal with the Snipers could be important too. But I think, yeah, I think it still could work. It's just, I agree with you. It is a bit of an odd choice, but let's see what happens. So we got this first missile about to fire. Seth Drill Pod comes down, is going to clear those Snipers on the top there. But he does need to get on these pads. Slingshot gets on the far left, and now Leandro on the far right. Build to hold against those bikes. And there we go. Victor does take this first missile.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, Victor does get the first missile. That is to be expected against double Harvester. So Suzaku is going to be going into the Basilisk. He's got the tech building open, the Temple of Nod. Looks like here's the first Basilisk. He's going to need to protect this a little bit though. Like, if he just rolls this into a couple of missiles, it's not going to go well for him. He does have the Venom to protect. That's nice. Now the question is, can Victor actually beat... I think Suzaku's game plan to beat the Orca Bomber is simply to not present threats for the Orca Bomber. He's just going to ignore that there's an Orca Bomber in the game, right? He's just going to make Basilisks. But wow, the second Slingshot actually takes it out. That is crazy.
Okay, never mind. You know what? Slingshot beating this Basilisk means that Basilisk is going to be a big liability for Zaku. So.
Yeah, if he can't even beat up on slingshots, then he's going to be in trouble. And I think the problem here is that he isn't playing Oksana. Like, you need the Oksana boost to really tear through those slingshots.
Oh, look at this double
Yeah,
slingshot.
he doesn't even take out one.
And
That's crazy.
yeah, this is not looking good. Predator Tank is going to into that middle pad. Venom's going to hold on to that far right, but not for too much longer. The slingshot might lose to this flame trooper though, but no, Sniper's come out to clear it. And now he's got this middle pad secured. He moves the pads around, or units around, and there we go. Gives him the second missile and takes this game pretty easily.
I think Suzaku was just as surprised as everyone else at that Basilisk not beating those slingshots. And I've never seen a Basilisk without Oksana. So in my experience, Basilisk always crush slingshots, but that's because of Oksana boost. And I think without Oksana, Basilisk is just a garbage unit. It's just so garbage.
Yep.
All right, guys, here we are. First game of the semi-finals. Benven versus Victor. We're on 3 lanes. This one's a best of 5. Both players playing Liang. Benven with the whale Liang skin, which you could only get by paying real money for a brief period of time. So you know who's the whale out of these two.
Right.
I'm interested. Again, we're seeing a lot, like, I don't know, like I said earlier, Liang is just the best commander.
It is, yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see a lot of Liang. Alright, interesting. So again, it's almost a mirror match, except that we see the Predator over the Pitbull, and we see Sandstorm over Borka. So I'd be very surprised to not see Benven go double. Yep, there it is. He goes blind double even. I think against GDI, blind double is fairly safe. They don't have good pressure. So there's not a lot that can be done to punish you. I actually really like Benven's choices here. He knows that Victor's going to play bombers. Sandstorm is great versus bombers. The main way to lose with Sandstorm against bombers is just to lose your first Sandstorm and just lose the game. But if he's gone blind double Harvester, I assume he's going to be just spamming Sandstorms. It's going to be so hard for Victor to kill like the first 3 Sandstorms, and that's what's going to decide this game, I think.
Yeah, and although, speaking of that, we do have this first missile about to fire. The charging time's been really, really good. However, it's about to stall. The Angels can come on that middle, but another Liang drone from Victor gets on that left to stall things up. But he's going to get on this middle pad with the Predator tank, and the Doggers are going to be able to hold against him for a little bit longer. But you know what? Actually, it's going back and forth quite a bit. The Predator tank's going to win against those Dogs, but Pitbull's going to get to that far left and clear that drone in one shot. There it goes. And now it's looking like Victor's finally got this missile, and yep, there we go.
That Predator tank fired so, like, that Predator tank fired hard, like, what, 0.1 seconds sooner, it would have stalled that missile again.
Yeah,
and then he would have been able to clear the right. If Benven had won that missile, he definitely wins the game. There's just no way he can lose spamming Sandstorms after winning the first missile.
Yep, especially with snipers.
Yep. But he does lose it, so we do still have a game here. Victor, though, is so low on cash. He really, that was an expensive missile for him. He is not close to even 1 Borka, whereas Benven is his nicked units to Sandstorm. So I fancy Benven's chances here. I think Benven's in really good shape.
And, you know, a material difference, too, is we've got these 2 lakes on the pad with both Slingshot and Sandstorm being able to move over top of them. So Slingshot is going to be able to get into position, and that's a big problem for Victor. You see, he's got the money to build a Borka, but there's really no opportunity for him to do it. These Snipers and Sandstorm are going to shut it down, and then they get that single Slingshot offer just went down to that Pitbull. But now a second Sandstorm on the field, and Victor does not have a really good option. He needs to use missiles to deal with these Sandstorms, and really Borka. But Borka's just going to lose to these positional Sandstorms, and now Benven's in a really good spot. Will be able to hold long enough. Lingdro gets on that far left. Missile is charging towards Benven. The Lingdro does go down to that Pitbull, but the snipers come out, will clear these missiles. However, first Borka coming out, it won't be enough, though. It does go down very quickly to that defender's position, Sandstorm. Now, another Borka coming out. Will be able to clear it. I don't believe so. Oh, but it does. However, second Sandstorm is coming out, and it's going to get onto that pad. Of course, Will to hold against that Borka very, very well. Missiles are not going to be quite enough, and it's looking pretty even so far. That Borka does go up to the top, but he does need to contest this missile, but Borka just can't get there with half health, and goes down to these double Sandstorms in position. Sandstorm, or Snipers are on that middle pad, but really, it's been going on for a really long time here, Blade. I'm not too sure who's actually going to win this missile.
This is exactly what we were talking about in one of the other games, about how if you can get the Sandstorm to target something else first, the Borka can come in and do some work. And Victor is a master of bombers, but he accidentally dropped a bomb payload there and killed all his own units that were coming in to contest, and that's really cost him because now he's run out of money. And this is exactly what I was saying. He needs to kill enough Sandstorms to fire the missile, but he just can't do it. There's too many Sandstorms.
Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. How many times has the missile stalled now? And he's trying his best, but he's
I think
not
that's
able
it.
to get onto
He's
that
out.
right
He's
pad,
out of
right?
cash. I think that's it. I think this missile goes to Ben now, and now the
There we
game's
go.
over. That was Victor's Hail Mary chance. He needed. He waited until the last possible moment to start making the Borkers, and he almost had it. There was a brief period where he actually cleared that middle pad, but then his Borker misfired, dropped its load, killed all of Victor's units that he was moving up to hold the middle pad, and it allowed Benven to get another Sandstorm on there. And like you said earlier, the hover is actually extremely relevant on this map. Being able to cross that lake means that you can get onto that middle pad much easier with things like Sandstorms.
Yep.
And now we're just going to see Benven sit here with Liang drone Sandstorm and snipers. And Benven also retargeted with his Sandstorms very, very well during that entire engagement. A lesser player would have lost his Sandstorms very easily because they were targeting the wrong thing. But Benven retargeted immediately every time. Really good retargeting from Ben, and that's why he took that game.
Yep. Ben's proving to be a very, very strong player in this tournament. You know, I got to say, he's obviously been playing a lot lately because his micro is very good. He's, you know what? He's not somebody to be a slouch. You know, he's real good.
All right, so Benven versus Victor. Benven is 1-0 up thanks to the Sandstorms. Both players playing Liang again. We're on Middle Oasis, so I'd be quite surprised to see exactly the same decks. I think that snipers are quite poor on Middle Oasis, and I think that Sandstorm is probably not a great choice on Middle Oasis either because it's so expensive. But yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. Surprised not to see anyone play Nod. I think Nod is usually the better faction on Middle Oasis. Wow, we do see this. Wow. Okay. The Benven's brought the same deck, which I'm a little surprised by because we're on Middle Oasis. And Victor's got Mammoth Tank, which is absolutely insane on Middle Oasis.
No kidding. Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Unit ready.
Like, obviously Liang makes sense.
Yeah, Liang is just the best commander. Like, you can never go wrong with Liang, really.
And Air is going to work out okay too, because at least he can get onto the pads. But, you know, he doesn't really have any fast units to get there. Hammerhead's pretty quick, but Drone Swarm and Mohawk are not as quick. So, but Benven, same thing, right? Like, he's got Slingshot and Predator tank to try to contest the pads and snipers. This is an odd choice from both of these players, and I actually don't know who wins this because of Middle Oasis. You know, like it's pretty tough to say.
Yeah, if this was a map where you can safely double harvester, I would heavily favor Victor.
Yeah,
but on Middle Oasis, going double harvester is kind of madness.
Right?
So
it is.
I don't know,
It's
man.
crazy.
I don't know. You can't mammoth off one harvester really either, so
Yeah.
you kind of have to double harvester. So it's kind of nuts that Victor's decided to play mammoth here.
Yeah, I think the only out for Victor is he's got to really stall this missile for as long as he possibly can. Like, I think he's got to go for like a 1 minute 45 first missile, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a minute 20 and the missile's pretty well charged. I think we're going to see about a minute 30, minute 35 missile. And here we go.
40,
So the missile's about to fire.
And here comes the
Liang does
steal
get on there.
potentially.
Oh,
No, the missiles
nope.
go down immediately.
All right, so Ben's got all 3 pads, and it looks like he's going to hold for long enough. And there we go. So minute 35 for that first missile, which I don't believe is long enough for a single harvester mammoth. You
No,
see Victor's got
I don't
30 type-
believe there. You need like 2 or 3 minutes for a single harvester mammoth deck.
I think so.
If this was double harvester, I'd say that was a good timing for Victor. I would heavily favor Victor if he had 2 harvesters and that was the timing.
Yeah.
But on a single half, I mean, maybe like he's playing very, very cheap units right now. He's only making rifles. He's just saving cash. He's not that far off the mammoth, honestly.
You're right, and we're not even halfway through the second missile, so it's possible. His harvester is about to go down, though. He's got to be really, really careful. He did move it there, losing some Tiberium time, so that's not great. The slingshot's going to clear this Mohawk on the bottom
I think it's
left
going to be too
well.
late.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially
He's
with
not really on any
Liang,
of
with
these
no
pads.
Jackson boost to get it to the middle. I don't see it, man. Maybe if he gets these rifles onto these 2 pads, he can stall for maybe. Ah, not quite. And I think he would have had it as well. That was so close because he has the mammoth on the top and the rifles on the bottom. That's all 3 pads.
Yep.
He would have had
actually,
that.
that was a Victor did miss that block on the bottom left, so it allowed Ben to get on the pads, but the mammoth tank just wasn't fast enough.
And that brings Benven to 2-0. All right, here we are. Benven versus Victor. Match point on Lone Spire. Both players have switched to Oksana, which I think is a good choice. I'm expecting to see some Giga Cannon. I think Giga Cannon is excellent on this map. Although again, like against Victor, I'm not sure Giga Cannon is where you want to be because that guy always plays Bomber. I think we're going to see one half Inferno from Victor in this game.
Yeah, I think so. It is a comfort deck for Victor. So, well,
it's not.
Actually,
both players are playing Giga. Wow. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So Benven is playing the Noid Hex Giga deck, which is the Giga deck popularized by Noid Hex on ladder. I think it's a very good Giga deck. I like it a lot. I think it's a good Giga deck if you don't know what your opponent's going to be doing because it covers a lot of bases. I don't think it's like the absolute best. Like if you know what your opponent's doing, you can build a better Giga deck. But I think it's like a very good one if you don't know what you're up against exactly. Victor's gone for a Fnatic Giga. I think the Fnatic Giga is favored. The Fnatic boost means that you're going to win the Giga mirrors a lot more often. And I think the Banshee is the breaker for Benven, but the Stealth Tank will clean that up very easily. So I favor Victor's deck in this one.
I have to agree with you. Yeah,
in a Giga mirror.
Yeah, I think so. The Celtics gonna be able to deal with the Banshees very well, Chuggy and Giga Cannon. So, but come down to micro. You know, it depends on who is gonna protect their units more. So let's see what happens. This first missile about to fire. We got double Giga Cannon on the field, both boosted. Giga Cannon needs to get onto that middle pad though, and it looks like it will push forward here. No, they're just gonna sit next to each other because of course if he pushes, he's gonna lose his Giga Cannon. So they're just gonna sit there tight. But we got the Militants on the bottom, which will hold longer against the Giga Cannon. Will he get this block on the middle pad? And it looks like he will. There we go. Ben does take it. Bikes do manage to get there, but it wasn't quite timely.
Oh, some nice splash damage onto Benven's Giga there. So I think small misplay. Like Benven made a better choice going infantry into the Giga than Victor did going wheels because the wheels went down very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Victor made a misplay by moving his Giga instead of having it just charge up on the rifles. He could have maybe finished off the rifles instead of instead of trying to move the Giga.
Yeah.
And Benven does manage to take down another of Victor's Gigas there. His is almost dead though. His Giga is now a liability. It's just going to go down so quickly. I think he should just be looking yeah, he's leaving it to die, which I think is a great choice.
Yeah,
now he's out of money though. He went into the Banshee, which I think is a misplay. He was already winning on the ground. He didn't need to tech switch into the air. And now this Banshee just isn't very good. Like, it can't get to the Giga Cannon. And there's just lasers everywhere. Yeah, I think this Banshee was a huge misplay. Like, 120 Tiberium. He could have had a new Giga Cannon and a boost for that, which would have been way better.
Yeah, and well, that's kind of what we're seeing right now because Victor's got pretty good control of the map. He's got 2 out of 3 pads, and he's going to hold against that Chuggy. It looks like.
Ooh, just about.
Just almost cleared it, but didn't quite get there in time. And Victor now takes the second missile, and we're going to a third missile in this game.
Yeah, I don't know why Benven decided to switch into Banshee. Like, he was winning the game on the ground with the Giga Mirrors. I mean, he shouldn't be winning against the Fanatics, but he was ahead. So I don't know why he's decided to switch it up.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now we got Celting from Victor, so the Celting's going to be very important from here on out. He does need to maintain its value, so he's got to be real careful of where he puts it. But, you know, there are some severe choke points on this map, and he does cross it over the pad there. Will clear the Giga, and yes, it does. So that's really bad for Benven. He's lost another Giga Cannon, and this Celting continues to get value. He does push over that Giga Cannon on the far right, but it's not really in a good spot. These triple Fanatics are doing a pretty good job of blocking for the Giga Cannon. However, it is very low health, so it's possible that Benven clears it and manages to get a sneaky missile. We'll see. But Boosted Banshee gets killed by that Celting. Giga Cannon's still alive, and now another Banshee coming out. Celting's not quite reloaded, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's going to have enough time to get reloaded and clear that Banshee. Will he clear that or the Giga Cannon? But he's in a pretty good spot. So Banshee does get over to the far left, but it's going to die to the Celtic, and now he loses another Banshee. These Banshees proving to be a huge liability, and we're about to get to this third missile. Can Benven win this and take the series? That is the question. But so far, Victor's got all 3 pads, and no, he loses the Giga Cannon on that middle, and now, oh, there we go. He's finally on that far right pad, blocks it, and takes the third missile, winning this game, coming back. And now we're going to game number 4.
Yeah, and I think Victor did... Benven should not have tech switched into the Banshees. They were absolutely terrible that game. They did almost nothing. He lost about 4 Banshees. I don't think they killed anything. I think they were just... They just were a money pit. Alright, here we go. Victor versus Benven. This is still match point for Benven. He is 2-1 up. Benven's gone to Jackson, and Victor is playing Oksana.
3, 2, 1. New objective available.
Okay, so we got Benven playing Mammoth, and then we got Victor playing Giga Cannon. I suppose because the way this map plays out, it's easy to stall for the missile. I can see Mammoth Tank being good, but I mean, if Victor can maintain pressure with Giga Cannon and throw his harvesters off the map, then there's no way Ben ever gets to Mammoth Tank. So overall, I feel like Victor's got the edge in general, but
I don't
depends.
like.
It depends on if Mammoth
I
Tank
don't.
gets here,
I
right?
don't like Giga or Mammoth on this map. I think this is
I know,
not.
neither
This is
do I.
not a good 2-range map at all.
No, it's
I think it's an okay tech map because it's 2 pads, but the harvesters I think are not that easily defended.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I think if Victor was to park a Giga Cannon 2 tiles away from that harvester, Benven would be almost... It'd be almost impossible for Benven to stop it. Benven doesn't even have Mohawk, he has Pitbull instead. So yeah, Benven cannot deal with a Giga Cannon on his harvesters.
Exactly. Well, and let's see if that comes to pass. So this right pad is being held by the single drone swarm. The bike missile bug manages not to clear it in time, but doesn't matter. He does finally get them out of the way, and now he's got that top lift pad with those lasers holding against the missiles, and there we go. So Victor does take the first missile.
Yeah.
We're at a minute 17 for that missile, and now we're going to see that pressure from the Giga Cannon on those harvesters.
Yeah, here comes the pressure. And this is why Mammoth decks play Mohawk, because things like MLRS and Giga Cannon and tanks, you need to be able to stop them getting to your harvesters. And you simply can't do that, especially not on typals. Look, this lake is such a big blocker. Victor's just going to go for the base.
Oh, I love this play from Victor. This is
Yeah, I
exactly
like
what
this
he
as
needs
well.
to do.
Oh, here comes the Mammoth.
Going for the kill, but will the Mammoth Tank clear it in time? That Boots Geek is doing some
It's getting
great work.
close.
And oh,
Oh!
yes! What timing! Holy smokes, that was close.
All right, this is it. Match point. Victor versus Benven. 2-2. Winner of this goes to the... I think goes to the grand final, actually. Let me just check. Yes, the winner of this goes to the grand finals. And we'll start with one game win in the grand finals because it is a double elimination tournament. So yeah, this is a big one. This match matters a lot. The loser of this has to play at least one more match if they want to get into the finals. And then even if they do that, they'll start down a game. So this one matters a lot. And we've got Sandstorm from Benven, no sniper, and same Giga deck from Victor. So he's played this deck 3 times in a row. I guess he's won twice in a row. He's feeling confident. He likes it.
Yeah, well, important to note, he has come up from a 2-game deficit, managing to push the series to 5 games. So really well done to Victor. And yeah, it looks like he's decided that this deck's been working out pretty well for him. So why change? And you know what? It's not a bad choice in general. The only issue is, does Benven get to his late game sooner? And that's really where things could start to swing over in Benven's favor. But early game wise, Victor's got a pretty good advantage.
It is actually a small change, I just realized, because he was playing Fnatic the first time, Fnatic Wheel, and now he's playing Chuggy Militant. I don't remember what he was playing in the second one. I think it was Chuggy Militant against the Mammoth Tank. I'm not certain.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think. Well, and we got an early Giga Cannon from Victor, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to contest these pads.
Yeah, I think Giga was a mistake here.
Yeah, like Giga is good, but of course for this first missile, it's not going to work out so well, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Benven's got pretty much this missile under control. Yangdor's going to hold that third pad just to make sure, and there we go. All right, Benven's got the first missile under his belt, giving him quite an edge, I would say, because now he's going to have a lot of time to get to that Sandstorm.
Yeah, with the Sandstorms as well. I actually think the Sandstorms are going to be... It's going to come down to whether or not these Orcas kill these Giga Cannons, because I don't think Sandstorm's actually very good against Giga. It's quite easy to block a Sandstorm long enough for a Giga to kill it.
That's true, especially with lasers.
An Orca will one-shot a Giga, so it's going to come down to whether or not he can protect his Giga Cannons. I think that's going to be the entire matchup.
Well, and Victor's a really, really good player, and that's one thing that he's very practiced with, is blocking for units, so we might see that come to pass. Here we go, so Stealthing clears that Orca. Not good for Ben. He really needs to maintain the value out of these Orcas in order to make sure he clears these Giga Cannons, and also needs to make sure he can put them in position to deal with these Stealth Tanks, but... Yeah, here we go. Second one comes up, and Stealth Tank reloading gets another one. Oh, not good. Victor's actually getting some pretty good value, and Benven's being pushed into a bit of a wall. If Victor does manage to claw back, it doesn't mean it's game over, of course, Benven having that first missile, but it's looking pretty good. All right, so now we got these Drone Swarm coming up to the top pad. They're going to be able to clear these lasers. The lasers moving mean they did not have defender's advantage, but it doesn't really matter too much. Drone Swarm would have been able to clear them either way, but another Orca goes down to the bottom right. Benven just not getting enough value, and here we go. He's about to get this missile, and actually, no, there we go. Lasers get on the top pad. Victor comes back, and now we're going to a third missile.
That fight down the bottom, there were 2 Stealth Tanks that both had like 1 missile. The Orca drove into them and took 1 missile from each Stealth Tank, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think the 1-man laser squad fired the last shot to kill the Orca before it killed either of the Stealth Tanks. Which is absolutely insane. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because I saw the Orca survive the Stealth Tanks, and I thought it was going to kill one of them. I thought it was going to be a huge turning point, but then it just died, and I think it must have been a laser troop that finished it off. It looks like Ben might have disconnected.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
Oh yeah, it looks like we've lost Ben. I mean, unfortunately, this late into a game, there's not what we can do. It is going to have to be a win for Victor. I can't replay a game with a disconnect like that because the game was already almost over. But yeah, unfortunately, that did look a disconnect. But yeah, that is going to be a win for Victor. So Victor is going to proceed to the grand finals with that. All right, here we are, Agent versus Suzaku. This is round 3 of the losers bracket. So all the other loser bracket games have been played off stream. So just as a quick recap, in case I didn't mention it before, Sarpedon lost to Eric, Greeno lost to Sam, then Agent beat Sam, and Suzaku beat Eric, and now here we are with Suzaku versus Agent. The winner of this, best of 3, will play Ben then in a best of 5 to see who goes on to the grand finals. Alright, so we've got Suzaku playing a Sandstorm deck. Pretty weird Sandstorm deck. This kind of looks like, this is Suzaku Sandstorm, but with drones instead of Razorback, which I think is going to be significantly worse. I don't think Suzaku realizes how much worse his deck is going to be with Drone Storm instead of Razorback. And Agent Shadow is playing a classic Jade Chems.
Yeah, so I think the big problem is that we got those pads really close to the base. So if Agent Shadow can get his Chem Warrior onto that far right pad and win the missile, then he'll have a really clear path to go for the base. But that rock is there too, so it means Suzaku could reasonably get a block, but I don't know. It's really tough to say, and between the two decks, I don't really know who to favor overall. I think Jade is probably the better choice in general. Drone Swarms don't clear Chem Warriors that quickly, and of course with Bikes to support, Mohawks aren't going to be able to clear them quickly enough, I believe. So I think overall Agent Shadow's got this, but
I agree. I think Agent Shadow's deck is slightly better. I think the drone swarm is not going to cut it. It's not a Razorback. Like, it can't just, you know, survive infinite against Bikes like a Razorback can. I think Sandstorm is just, it's good still, but it's not great against Agent Shadow's deck. Like, it'll be decent but not amazing. And I think Mohawk is worse than Orca in this matchup.
Okay, so we got the first missile about to fire. The Mohawk on the far left is holding pretty well against the Bikes, and it looks like, Phantom just couldn't get there in time. Suzaku takes this first missile.
Agent kind of focused on that Harvester way too hard, and then just forgot about the missile, and Suzaku just took it.
Yep.
Like, Agent just had all his units up on this Harvester, and yeah, you can see Agent is trying really hard not to kill this single drone as well. Like, he's making it his life's work to not kill this one drone, because he really wants Suzaku to be pop-capped. And now he's trying to go for the base bomb. If he can get this extra cloud, this is going to be a full missile's worth. Yeah, almost a full missile's worth. But he finally takes out that drone swarm with the catalyst missile explosion. Still didn't get the Harvester, by the way.
Yeah, look at it. It's got 1 HP still alive, and you know, that could have helped him out quite a bit. Of course, Suzaku did get a Liang drone on there to heal it up just enough so it would be able to survive a little bit longer, but this missile's about to fire, and Agent Shadow's not really on these pads. He's got the Bikes dealing with that Pitbull, but of course it's going to last long enough against them. These militants need to get on there. They're going to go under the Mohawk, but of course with all 3 hexes occupied, it's going to be real difficult for him to continue to contest that pad. Mohawk is on that far right, but it's going to lose to this Phantom. It's about to go down. There it goes. And right now we're going to see a pretty stalled missile overall. This is, of course, match point for Suzaku, so he's got to win this. Now, Phantom doesn't clear that Mohawk, and the Angel is going to heal it long enough.
Oof,
and can't survive long enough. It was real close there, but of course the Phantom does die quickly enough to the Phantom, or sorry, the Pitbull and the missiles. Chem Warriors do get on there, though, and that's a big problem. Now he's going to block for this left pad, and it looks like he's got this missile. There we go. So he just got it now. Suzaku's got a sliver of health.
That's game.
Chem Warriors are inching forward, and I think this is it.
Jade Missile does it. Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes.
And I think Suzaku made a small misplay there when he moved the ground unit, the missiles, off the tile to replace them with drones. That would be a smart play if his objective was to get good matchups, but his objective was to keep chems off of the pad. So by letting them walk underneath the drone swarm, that really hurt him. All right, here we go. Suzaku versus Agent Shadow, game 2. Agent Shadow is up 1-0. Both players playing Liang this time.
3, 2, 1. New objective.
All right, so Agent Shadow is playing his standard deck, but with Sandstorm over Hammerhead. Suzaku's playing the same deck as before, but he's got Orca instead of Mohawk this time, which I think is a good change. And also this time, again, he's predicting the Borkers, which they do exist this time, but it looks like it's going to be a Sandstorm mirror more than anything.
Yeah.
I think I favor Shadow on that because the snipers.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think the snipers are going to be really good to shut down the missiles. Of course, the missiles are needed to deal with the sandstorms. So once the late game gets going, which is likely going to happen from both of these players, it's going to turn into a sandstorm mirror with Liang on both. But then the snipers should switch that matchup over to Agent Shadow's favor, like you say.
Yeah, potentially. Like he'll be able to use his missiles, whereas Suzaku won't really. So if it comes down to just spamming sandstorms each other, that won't matter. But if Agent Shadow mixes in some missiles, then it'll matter a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, we're about to get to this first missile. It's about 2/3 charged, and so far Suzaku's got 2 out of 3 pads, but of course those missiles are going to have to retreat from the snipers. So Drone Swarm coming out to that bottom left, but of course the missiles get in position first, so the Drone Swarms have to back off. Orca coming out will get to that top pad. It should be able to clear that pit bull. Of course it will, and there we go. And it's going to get onto that middle pad, but Lane Drone is going to come onto that far right, and Agent Shadow being on all 3 now, clearing the Lane Drone from Suzaku on the far left means that Agent Shadow takes his first missile.
Yeah, and that's kind of the power of the snipers. Like in the early games, Suzaku's deck is not good against snipers. Here comes the first sandstorm from Suzaku. Agent's going to be able to respond. It looks like he's going for Borka, or potentially he was just building the air tower. We'll have to wait and see what his next unit actually is. But it's going to come down to, like, Suzaku just doesn't have good answers to missiles to go with his sandstorm is the problem.
Ooh, 2 sandstorms from Suzaku now. This is a big deal. Of course, Agent Shadow does get his first one out, but actually he's got 2 to
sandstorm.
respond. However, Suzaku is in position first, so I think he will win, but he's about to get a 2v1 with the Liang Drone on Agent Shadow's Sandstorm. But both players now have Liang Drone on them, so he's maintaining the value pretty reasonably. And neither player is really going to be able to push forward. Of course, that means Agent Shadow's going to go over to the far right. Great play from him. He's going to go after these Harvesters now. And that could start to swing things, as we've seen in some of these other games, where killing the Harvesters, shutting down the economy, is a big deal in these late game decks. So this could be where things start to change for Agent Shadow.
Yeah, surprised to see Suzaku not respond when he saw those sandstorms start to move down there. Oh, looks like he doesn't care about the Harvesters. He's happy to he's just going to win the missile and go for the base. Oh, but Agent Shadow sees the play and goes for the same play. Agent Shadow has 2 this is going to be a massive base race here. This could go either way. I have no idea who's going to win this.
I'm just looking at the health ticking down.
I think it's going to be Suzaku. It's going to be so close. He moved his sandstorm. Oh, he still gets it. He misclicked his top sandstorm and moved it away. But he still gets it. That was very, very heads up play by Suzaku to know that the harvesters didn't matter. He just didn't care. He was like, yep, whatever. I just want win the missile, go straight to your base. And Agent Shadow did not see it coming. And yeah, he was a little bit too slow to respond. And then, whew, wow, really good play by Suzaku. Really, really good play by Suzaku. All right, here we are. Match point. Agent Shadow versus Suzaku. 2 more Liangs, because we haven't seen enough Liangs yet. This is, I mean, honestly, it's like the 99th Liang or something we've seen today.
At least, yeah.
And then we've seen like 2 Seths, 4 Oxanas, and about 1,000 Liangs. I think 1 Strong Arm that wasn't very good. Oh, we saw a couple of Solomons as well in the early rounds.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. No Kane though, unfortunately.
Yeah, no Kane. All right, so here we go. Make sure these guys are playing the decks they submitted. Yeah, looks good to me. No, actually.
Uh-oh. They're different?
Oh no, we're good. Okay, sorry. Let's move. We're good. Yeah, we're fine.
So we got Mammoth versus Borka, basically. And
Pretty much,
I gotta say, if Agent manages to get a missile, or if manages to stall for long enough, I think Agent wins this.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He doesn't actually have any anti-air units. He only has Pitbull. So he can't protect his Mammoth tank from Orca bombers. So
you're right. Yeah.
I actually think Suzaku wins this one in the late game. Because even if a Mammoth comes out, Suzaku can kill it with Orca bomber, and there's nothing Agent can do about that. All Agent can do is make his own Orca bombers. Man, this Liang drone just stalling out forever. Suzaku forced to make a slingshot to kill it. And then he's going to lose the Predator tank before he manages to... Oh, no, he doesn't. The Liang drone just about saves it. All right, nicely played by Suzaku. Although, much longer than he wanted that missile to be, thanks to the Liang stall. First Porker from Agent. We might just see Agent not even make a Mammoth tank. Although that would be a weird play to just go into Borka spam here. Like, without knowing Suzaku's deck, that would be a very odd choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think, you know, it will pay off. Of course, it will be able to deal with just about everything. Suzaku only having access to Slingshot for his anti-air means that Borka will be pretty strong against him.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm not so sure. It really depends. I mean, he is saving up for that mammoth tank, as we see he's got 180 Tiberium right now. But well, one worker goes down, the other one is going to reload, but it's not going to survive against the slingshot. I think the slingshot will destroy it before it gets there. So we're going to see another worker come out, and there it is. And will it clear the slingshot? I believe it will.
Yeah, looks like it. I think this game should basically just be a Borka mirror, but Suzaku doesn't have the money for Borkas, so it ends up just being Borka spam from Agent Shadow. And oh, he takes out both of them. That's a big deal that he didn't lose his slingshot there. Really big deal. Oh, and the Liang drone.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. Game. And Suzaku takes it. Insane. I thought Suzaku was so dead. And then that one slingshot killed both Orca bombers without dying. Wow. Wow. That was unreal.
That was crazy, right? Like, how many Borkas did Agent Shadow build?
That was actually nuts.
Built like 6
5.
or 7.
It was like 5 or 6. It was...
Yeah.
All right, here we are, guys. The finals of the losers bracket. We have Suzaku taking on Benven. We're on... what map are we on? We're on Hot Zone.
Hot Zone.
And... oh, God. Sorry, I need to turn off song request. Otherwise, Flintstock's trolling me. Right, here we go. Suzaku playing laser drones. Benven is playing Sandstorm Liang.
2, 1. New objective available.
All right, Suzaku playing the classic Jade deck, and then Benven playing the playing Sandstorm GDI with Liang. Of course, he's opting for ground units to support Sandstorm. And Slingshot. I think Slingshot's a good choice over Pitbull on this map.
Yeah, agreed. Slingshot is a much better choice on this map. I think Benven's deck is fantastic on this map. I think Benven is massively favored. He's got snipers for chems. He's got dogs that block the chems, so he doesn't lose like the rifleman did. He's got he's got the slingshot, kills all of Suzaku's air. He's got predator for the bikes. I think Benven's deck is very, very good here. I would heavily favor Benven.
I agree. Yep. And Benven's been a great player this tournament so far, so I don't expect to see any major slip-ups from either player. Having said that, this is Rivals, but I agree with you. I think deck-wise, Benven's pretty much got this. So let's see if he can pull it off.
Benven has been on form today for sure, but I just think his matchup here is very good. He's a good player. It's gonna. I mean, the laser drones are brutal though. Like, if the laser drones can clear out these dogs, I mean, if Suzaku gets first missile, things could change. Oh, the Liang drone, classic Liang drone.
Yeah. So Slingshot cleared the drones on the top right. He's gonna block, and there we go. Yeah, Liang drone did get on the bottom pad with the Chem Warriors and the laser drone sitting there. They couldn't do a single thing, so that gave Ben the first missile, and that is a huge advantage for him.
Huge deal. Huge deal. Yeah. Yep. If Suzaku wins the first missile, he has the out of punking the base, but after losing first missile, it's going to be really tough for Suzaku in this matchup.
Yep.
Great choice of deck from Benven. I think not a great choice of deck from Suzaku. On a map like Hot Zone, I think a Borka deck would have been much better. And we've seen Suzaku play Borka today, so it's not like it's not like it's not like he doesn't know how to play Borka. He knows what he's doing with it.
Yep. Exactly. And, because of the way this map works out, it's really not difficult to block the snipers. As we're seeing here, those Chem Warriors are not doing too great of a job. The snipers doing pretty well, although now we're going to see the Chem Warriors inch forward and start taking care of them. Benven not in a great position overall. He's getting pushed back just a little bit, so he's got to be actually a little bit careful, but he's got full health on his base, so it's not really too big of a deal if the Chem Warriors do get to the base. He's just got to concentrate on this missile. And oh no!
Doesn't kill the Sandstorm.
Doesn't clear the Sandstorm, and now he's on that top pad and will beat the bikes, and he's going to get on this bottom pad with the dogs. Will they survive long enough, or will the Sandstorm go first? But
the Sandstorm lives.
Oh,
the Sandstorm lives. That bike volley. Oh my god! And that's going to win him the game. Oh, maybe.
Oh,
so close.
Oh, no. So
and he does take it. Wow, that Sandstorm, man. Sandstorm is just indestructible. That's crazy. It took like 2 catalyst explosions. I don't think the missile hit it, but it took like 2 catalyst explosions and a bike volley, and still survived long enough to fight that. Oh, Sandstorm's so disgusting.
It's taking a little while, but here we go.
All right, so here we go.
Into the game. And let's have a look.
All right, so Suzaku is playing an Orca Bomber deck with snipers, and Benven's gone for his Rockworm deck. So I think that I gotta favor Suzaku on this one. I think, although I don't know, man. Actually, now I think about it, this is pretty close because the Orca Bomber beats on the Rockworms, but there's Phantoms to protect, and Suzaku doesn't actually have a good anti-air unit. He's only got the Pitbulls. So he could definitely lose air superiority to Phantoms, and then he won't be able to kill the Rockworms. So yeah, this could go either way. The fact that Benven went double Harvester worries me. I think that's going to favor Suzaku. because it means Suzaku's going to get a missile for free, basically. And then all he needs to do is like sneak the second one with his Borkers. Yep. I think if this was one Harvester Rockworm, I'd favor Ben Ven, honestly. I think the double harvest is actually going to hurt him more than it helps him. Because I don't think the Rockworms are going to be the auto win that he wants them to be.
Well, and speaking of that, so the first missile is about to fire. We got double Pitbull on the field from Suzaku. He's got all 3 pads and comfortably takes the first missile against Ben Ven. Of course, not a surprise. Ben Ven is going double harvester, like you said, Blade. So, you know, that's not an unexpected result for Suzaku to take the first missile. And certainly doesn't mean the end of the game. It's going to be interesting to see where things go from here, though.
Yeah, and Suzaku deciding to pull both his Pitbulls to defend the snipers instead of killing the harvester. Doesn't even manage it, even with 2 Pitbulls. And wow, there's the first Rockworm. That is very early. 1 minute 27. Yep. Rockworm is burrowed though, so this Borker is not going to be useful. I don't know if the Borker will start firing. No, Borker does not start firing on a burrowed Rockworm. I've been told it did do that, but it looks like it doesn't. So I think Suzaku intentionally killed his snipers there, which is a good play. One-man sniper squad was useless. Ben goes for the Harvester. Very aggressive to go straight for the Harvester there. Suzaku doesn't care because he's managed to kill 2 Harvesters of his own, so he's rolling in money anyway.
Yep.
And it looks like I think it's gonna go to Suzaku. I think
Suzaku's doing a pretty good job here. The bikes on that far left are going to lose to the double Pitbull. Liang
drone
comes on.
The Liang drone.
Against the Rockworm will be long enough, and I think it
will. Of
will.
course, the Liang drone.
Yep.
And there it
Liang
is.
wins the match.
Yeah, I think that if Rockworm had been a legitimate win condition in that matchup, Ben Ven going double harvester would have been okay. But Suzaku's deck did not just auto lose to Rockworms, so the double harvester ended up hurting him more than it helped him.
It did, and losing both of those harvesters as really didn't matter mattered a lot because Suzaku, even though he lost his harvester, he had all the money he needed to continue to pump out the Borkas. So
that's exactly it. Yeah, without the harvester kills, he would have really struggled to get out the units to fight the Rockworms. With harvester kills, he had the money, even losing his own harvester. All right, here we are, third game, Suzaku versus Ben Ven. It's currently 1-1. We're on Tib Stripes, and I think we're going to see a Liang mirror. Well, we obviously see a Liang mirror. Suzaku, I believe, is playing Orca Bomber, and Ben Ven is on the Sandstorms.
3, 2, 1. New objective available.
Okay, so yeah, like you said, we got Suzaku playing Orca Bomber, using Dogs, Pitbull, and Predator with Sniper Missile, and then we got Ben Ven playing Sandstorm with pretty much the same thing, except of course he's running Sandstorm versus Orca Bomber, and then he's got Slingshot versus Pitbull. You know, I'm not so sure about Sandstorm here. I think Ben Ven's gonna have to rely on a single harvester, and I think if that's the case, I feel like Suzaku's got the edge in that case. But you know, based on the other matches we've seen, it's really not clear cut. So I think Slingshot might hold Ben Ven back a little bit against Orca Bomber. It's tough to say. What do you think, Blade?
Yeah, it's really, like you say, it's going to come down to, do the Sandstorms get defensive position or not against the Borkers. If they do, then the Sandstorms will win. If they don't, the Borkers will win. But yeah, like you say, Ben Ven's almost certainly be one-halving this. Looks like Suzaku's going to have a good first missile here. These snipers are going to hold long enough. He's got the top pad. Yeah, Suzaku takes first missile. Oh, these dogs sneak on. This is a big stall. The Ben Ven snipers are shooting the dogs. If he shot the snipers there, he could have maybe had it with that sneaky dog.
Yep. Yeah. For the first time ever, snipers won against Predator Tank and took that missile for Suzaku. And of course, for Suzaku, that is a pretty big deal. I feel like late game wise, Suzaku doesn't have quite as good a late game against Ben Ven, but you know, like we were talking about, that's not really the decider in this match. But overall, good for Suzaku, of course. Yeah, and first Orca Bomber comes out for Suzaku. Ben Ven not close to Slingshot. Not close to Sandstorm at all. So he's going to be relying on Slingshots at the moment. Oh, is he going to clear that Slingshot? And he does. Nice. Ooh, that Orca Bomber got tons of value. Yeah, that Orca Bomber did a lot of work. Yeah, so that's really great. Of course, Suzaku does need to maintain this Orca Bomber. He's only on a single harvester, so it's not like he's got to access to another one if he needs it. Oh, I don't think. Oh, gets the snipers though. It's actually not so bad. I think he didn't know there was a. I think he didn't know there was another Slingshot there, because otherwise he wouldn't have sent it in. But he ended up managing to drop a bomb, so it wasn't terrible. No, not terrible at all. And here we go. So now second missile about to fire. Can Ben Ven come back? That Pitbull does clear the bottom unit there, and now he's going to get on that far left. Will he stall it? No, it doesn't matter. Ben Ven does manage to get on all three pads and comes back, and now we're going to do a third missile. Liang drone once again comes in clutch to hold pads. Really is the best mode on Liang drone. Yeah, and yeah, it really is.
Benven having to go double slingshot here to deal with this Orca Bomber. He's just not close to that Sandstorm, man. I mean, now he's kind of close, but by the time he loses a unit and has pop cap, he'll be able to make a Sandstorm, but it's unclear where the missile charge will be at that point. Zaku does move in. Yep. This Orca Bomber is going to get punked by this double slingshot. Wow, it actually takes one out still.
It did only because the slingshot was 1 hex apart from the other slingshots, so he didn't start firing on it until the Borka was directly over top of it. But still, it doesn't matter, right? Like, he lost that Borka.
These slings are in defensive positions. This Borka is cleaning up everything. Oh, kills his own snipers and his own Pitbull. No. Wow, that Borka actually ended up killing both sides equally, I think.
Well, I really like this Liang Jordan play on the bottom pad. Of course, going to heal up this Bork and is about to finish reloading, and it looks like he's going to move it over and clear the dogs and the slingshot in one fell swoop, and there it goes. He's cleared both, and now he's got the bottom pad. He's on the top right pad, and now he's got the missile.
Wow,
there we
Borka
go.
is just disgusting, isn't it?
Yep.
And there it is. Borka just takes out infinity copies of Sandstorms. And Suzaku does take the game. All right, here we go. Match point for Suzaku. 2-1 up. Both players playing Liang again. I think the win rate on Liang must be outrageous now. I might do some a little stat sheet afterwards. Go through and see what everyone played and so on. But yeah, for now, here we go. Another Liang mirror. Liang is just the best commander in the game. It's not close. The recent nerf in air quotes to 40 Tiberium was a truly outrageous buff. All right, looks like we've got this very similar decks. Benven switched out the Slingshot and Tank for Pitbull Talon. Zaku's sticking with the same thing. So both players open Dogs and Harvester, pretty standard opening. Gonna see who goes Pitbull first. Normally what happens in these scenarios is both players go Pitbull, and then you have a little dance as the Pitbulls try and fight. But because Suzaku has Predator, I think he's gonna go straight into Predator. It looks like what he's doing. So. He does. He does go straight to Predator. So Benven now has to go missiles, basically. He can't fight this Predator with his War Factory yet. That's exactly what he does.
And double dog from Suzaku. Okay, so yeah, I think overall Suzaku's got a bit of an edge with the Predator tank in his deck. Of course, it will two-shot the Pitbull, and it's going to be able to hold against these missiles. War Dog's doing a very good job efficiently killing them, as we see there. And now the Pitbull is gone. Predator tank managed to clear it without even taking a single shot on itself. So that's really, really great for Suzaku so far, winning the value game. And now snipers coming out will be a problem for these missiles. Pitbull's not going to be quite enough. As long as Suzaku maintains his advantage in his position here, he's going to have a pretty comfortable time taking this first missile. The Pitbull, once again, trying to do some damage to the snipers, but just won't be enough. Snipers are only holding the pads on the far left, only having the dogs to shoot at. Isn't going to be quite enough, but Langdorm coming down to take the pad, doing what it does best. Now he needs to block on the middle hex, and there he go. Does Predator tank very slow, can't get there. And there we go.
Nice Langdorm just very slightly too slow there from Suzaku to stall out that missile. So Benven does take it. I actually think he should have put his Liang drone on the top right because he had the bottom covered with the missiles anyway. But yeah, it does manage to take it anyway. Yeah, a little bit surprised. Mostly the speed of the Predator was what hurting Suzaku there. Just couldn't rotate them around quickly enough to get them where he wants them. But Suzaku definitely has a much more imposing board state now. His units, like his stuff on table is way more powerful. It's going to be really hard for Benven to stop him pushing the Harvester here. And that's exactly what we see. Double Predator is going to make short work of a Harvester.
It is. One more shot and it goes down, and there it goes. Langdorm is going to heal those Predator tanks up as well. I don't think the missiles will win against it, even with the drone on there. And now we got a second Harvester from Benven. He's only got one on the field, but that second one is up at the top there harvesting. So he is gaining some many, but it may not be quite enough. Orca coming out is going to get pretty good value. It's about to go over to that far left and clear the missiles and the snipers, and there they go. So Borka doing a really great job, and Benven's got to respond with his Talon, but will a double Talon be enough? That is the question. So Talon's going to go down to that bottom pad and hold it. It's going to stall for a bit longer. Pitbull's going to clear the dog on the left, but Predator tank gets pushed back by those missiles. Now Talon's going to get onto that pad with the Pitbull moving to the bottom. Doesn't have a natural Predator, and now it looks like it's going to stall again, but no, actually.
Oh, he gets
Benven takes it.
Oh,
what a sneaky play.
So
Holy
close. Woo. I thought Suzaku was going to be able to move on again, like the Predator speed letting him down. Predators just could not rotate quickly enough to get onto the right pads, and Benven, with the sneaky Talons, manages to claim that game. All right, here we are with the match point. Benven versus Suzaku on Stonewall. Suzaku playing Jade. I suspect we're going to see the classic Jade laser drone deck. And Benven with Oksana. Interested to see what Benven brings for this one. So Jeffrey, what have you been up to? This loading screen, man. This loading screen. All right, here we go. All right, very interesting. So I'm going to put my money on Suzaku in a matchup like this. I think the Jade deck is exactly what Jade deck wants to be playing against, right?
Yep, 100%.
So yeah, but then again, having said that, this is a hard map to get to the base on, and you can't do the kill anymore without getting to the base. So
That is true.
could be interesting. Could be interesting to see how this goes. Also, Benven has split his harvesters, which normally I'd say is a bad idea, but interestingly, on this map, having a harvester up there actually it closes off one of the routes for chems to get to your base.
Oh,
So it's quite an interesting place to have a harvester. I think maybe a little too early to do that though. Like I think, although you don't want to have the movement and losing the income, but yeah. Anyway, Suzaku has harassed the crap out of it. Easily takes first missile here. Like Benven has no stall, which is very bad for Benven. 54-second missile. Yeah, Suzaku's a heavy favorite at this point. He does have to get chems to the base though. He can't actually do it without getting chems to the base. That strategy
the thing, right?
doesn't work anymore without reaching the base.
So I think from here, really, the best thing Suzaku could do is shut down his economy, and that harvester is pretty low. The bikes are going to get a volley off, but it won't be enough to clear it. Just about does though, and it doesn't look. Actually, no, it looks like the bikes will clear it. So there's one harvester down. Suzaku's got a bit more cash. Not really needing the extra cash, but just good to shut down his economy and slow Benven down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if Benven does get to his avatar, it will pretty much shut everything down. Laser drones shouldn't be enough to deal with it with the lasers and Phantom on Benven's side. So I think that's going to be a real problem for Suzaku.
Benven goes Phantom. I think that's a misplay. I don't think Ben can afford this Phantom. And the chems are snuck through because the harvester's not there to block anymore.
Oh no!
Oh, and I think that might be game. That's going to be so much damage. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Clears the base.
And is he going to get the missile? It's close.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take the missile anyway. And there it is. Suzaku does take it. Very heavy favorite on that deck matchup, I think. Jade Laser Drones just always wants to play against a double harvester deck. All right, here we are with the grand finals. Victor is the winner of the winner's bracket. Will start 1-0 up. We've got Victor versus Suzaku. And before we start, I'd like to give a massive shout out to RM Chen, who is by far the biggest supporter of this tournament, donated by far the most towards the prize pool. Thanks to everyone, obviously, who supported the prize pool. But yeah, RM Chen has given by far the lion's share. And a big thank you to Jade and Sarpedon for the bot that ran the off-stream qualifiers. And also thank you to Bloodlust, who runs the bot, he hosts the bot. And thank you to Davo, who created the original bot that inspired the bot that Jade and Sarpedon created. All right, and that's also thanks to Jeffrey for being here and casting. Thank you very much, Jeffrey.
Oh, you're welcome, Blade. It's been a pleasure.
And now, without any further ado, let us begin the grand finals. We're on Battlefield, and then it will be loser picks after that. And we've got Victor versus Suzaku, game 1.
All right, so yeah, game 1 of the finals. As you mentioned, Victor is up 1 for his victory in the winner's bracket. And interesting, Suzaku switching over to Jackson. This might be one of the few matches we see with GDI versus GDI, but Liang versus something else.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's very rare to see. And the reason we see it immediately is because of it's the Mammoth deck. And the Mammoth deck wants to be playing Jackson, especially on map Battlefield. The pads are so far from the base. It's really important to get that Mammoth out early. Both players going blind double harvester. So Victor's going to be planning on a Borka spam. Suzaku's going for the Mammoth. I think this heavily favors Suzaku because this is going to make the game delayed massively, and it's going to come down to Hammerhead Wars. But Suzaku has a Mammoth tank to back it up, and what's going to happen is it's going to be a Hammerhead War, but Victor needs to spend a lot of money on Borkas that aren't good versus the Hammerheads, and then Victor needs to make Pitbulls to fight the opposing Hammerheads, which are going to get instantly killed by Mammoth tanks. That's my prediction.
I completely agree with you. I think Suzaku's got a huge advantage, and both players want to stall, and that's the thing. Victor does not realize he's up against Mammoth Tank.
Yeah, Victor doesn't know that stalling is actually bad for him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's what he needs to do. But I think, like you said, it's going to be Hammerhead versus Hammerhead, and with Mammoth Tank to be the big tanky unit, Suzaku's got a real advantage from there. So, well, we'll see what happens. Borka coming out with a Hammerhead 2 support that's really good for Victor, and missile's not quite fired yet, so that's quite all right. Doesn't really matter too much though. We're not that well charged into this first missile. We're almost minute 20, and it's not even about to go off. So Borka does manage to get one load off. The Hammerhead boosted is being a big problem here for this Borka, but not going to be able to get it before the Pitbull does, I believe. Let's have a look. Actually, no, Hammerhead will clear it. One more shot. There it goes, but Mohawk goes up to the top and Hammerhead on the bottom, and now it looks like, wow, Suzaku's going to take this first missile. Oh.
I mean, it's hard to, like, if you I would advise people go back and watch what happened throughout that entire missile on like slow speed, because there was some extremely fancy micro going on there. Firstly, Suzaku using the boost on the hammerhead to clean up Victor's hammerhead to buy him more time was a very good play. Then Victor microed his Borka around the rifles so that the hammerhead could not stop and start shooting. And then once the rifles were dead, that's when Suzaku was able to actually use his hammerhead to clear the Borka. So yeah, that was a lot of fancy micro going on in that missile that would be easy to miss.
For sure. Yeah, there was a lot of really interesting things happening, like you said. And however, at the end of it, Suzaku does manage to come out on top. But now, first Mammoth Tank is down. And, you know, maybe using Jackson might not have been a great choice. But of course, on this map, it does make sense. However, this missile's about to come down. The Bork is going to die. And now it looks like he's not going to get on the pads. And Suzaku takes it cleanly, winning the second missile and the first game, putting them up 1-1. Yeah,
the double harvester ended up favoring Suzaku, whose deck was just slightly better with both players at pop capped more. So, yeah, I think the matchup favored Suzaku, and that's exactly how it played out. And congratulations to Suzaku. All right, here we are. Game number 2. Victor is still obviously got his win from being the winner of the winners bracket, so it is 1-1. Victor versus Suzaku on open water, picked by Victor. I believe it's Victor's favorite map. He always picks open water. And Suzaku has gone for Liang, so I would not be surprised to see the old sandstorms again.
Yeah, the question is he going to use Slingshot or Hammerhead for his anti-air?
Yeah.
And I would say Hammerhead would be better, but let's see. No, opting
he
for
does
Slingshot.
Go for the sling. Interesting.
Oh, wow, different deck
and
from
Victor doesn't go bombers. Interesting. Victor's... Oh, you know what? This is a great choice from Victor, because by playing what looks like... Because it's Victor and he's picked open water, everyone's going to assume Inferno, which is exactly what Suzaku did. So Suzaku has slingshots and sandstorms to beat Infernos that Victor just doesn't have. In fact, Victor has no air units. So these sandstorms, again, like I said earlier, the sandstorms actually aren't that good versus Giga Cannons. And Suzaku has no out to a Giga Cannon. I think this is an excellent, I think this is an excellent bait and switch by Victor going for Giga here. I think this Giga Cannon deck is heavily, heavily favored, because Suzaku just does not have an answer to it. He's going to have to somehow sneak a Predator up to it, which is so hard to do.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, if Suzaku had brought Borka, then this would be a totally different game. But I think, like you said, it's been a very smart calculation by Victor to bring this. So this is going to work out pretty well for him overall. And let's see. First missile coming down to it. And Victor does need to get on these pads. The Giga is probably not going to
the Giga might be a little too slow here.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like it's going to go to Suzaku with the first missile. And...
Let me close.
Oh, so close.
So close.
So close.
Suzaku does just take it, though.
It does, yeah. That dog was the MVP there. He did micro it just out of the distance from the Giga Cannon just to make sure that it survived long enough. Bikes weren't quite quick enough to get there. So yeah, the first missile does go to Suzaku.
Yeah, really nice play there from Suzaku to take that first missile. But now we're seeing the power of the Giga, and Suzaku's deck just doesn't have an answer. Like, what's he supposed to do here? He's spamming missiles. That's his best out. But then here comes a Chuggy as well. The Giga's on his Harvester now. I mean, yeah, this is so difficult. So difficult for Suzaku. Maybe if the Predator fires. Well, the Predator does fire. That almost kills the Giga.
Wasn't enough, though.
This is a... I mean, the Giga will go down to the next unit that gets near it. Yeah, this Predator's going to take it out.
Yep.
So it's not as over as it looked. Victor is... he is almost out of money as well. He's invested a lot in getting this Harvester kill. He does need to re-up his Giga. Yeah. If Suzaku can just hold the pads long enough here, he might take it.
He does have that first missile, which may be the key in this match. So far, it's looking like he's doing a pretty good job. This Predator Tank doing some pretty good work. But now Predator Tank gets on the pad, clears the Chem Buggy, and that's not great, but it doesn't matter. Giga's just insane. Yeah, when he gets double boosted like that.
Open water is the best map in the game for Giga Cannon.
Oh, but Liang comes in. Of course, Vikes will get a volley up and cleared, and it won't hold for pads. And can the Giga Cannon get the Giga
Predator?
Predator does it. Block with the Chuggy, and oh my god, he gets on the pad.
Oh, but Victor goes first pad.
And there we go. Wow, that was close. That was super.
Yeah, Suzaku does manage to take out the Giga and get onto the middle pad, but Victor, very heads-up play, sees that happening, sends the Chuggy to the far right to make sure that he still has all 3 pads.
Yep.
Really,
the Predator Tank's slow shot fire rate was what really held him back, but didn't matter. That Chuggy moving over was what clutched that missile for him, so really well done to Victor.
I think Victor kind of misplayed it to get the Giga in a position where it could die, but then he managed to bring it back, so... Yeah, I think Victor, he's being too aggressive with these Giga Cannons. There's no need. A Giga Cannon parked on the back pad with a wall of units in front is just not a thing Suzaku can beat. And he keeps trying to move it up, and there's just no need to move it up. You can just chill.
That's exactly it, and that's pretty much what he's doing now. He does move the Giga Cannon onto that middle pad, it gets boosted, so it's going to clear this Predator tank pretty quickly. Even with the Liang drone there healing it up a little bit, but second Predator tank is going to move down and will get a shot off.
Doesn't even get one.
Oh my
So bad for Suzaku.
And now this Giga Cannon is fully boosted.
Yeah.
It's got tier 3 damage. This is just going to clear absolutely everything that comes its way. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Now the missile's about to fire. Giga Cannon doing some real work. He's going to block on this middle pad. He gets to check Chem Buggy on that far left. Liang drone comes down, but the bikes are there. They should be able to clear it. One missile does get onto it. The Liang drone's going to hold for just a bit longer. That might be the key. Will he be able to claw back here?
Misfire. Doesn't shoot the Giga.
Oh no! Giga Cannon's about to go
he does
down,
kill
and
it.
does, and Berta's moving forward.
This is so close.
For long.
It's so
Berta's
close.
gonna get to the middle pad, and now, oh my god, the middle pad is cleared. Will he be able to block? But he doesn't. Giga Cannon is boosted, but loses it, and now he's gonna get some damage on that Predator tank. Double bikes protecting the Giga Cannon is gonna be very key. Will he get this block? And he does! Victor comes back, and now he's up 2-1. Amazing comeback.
That game. That game was nuts. I mean, I gotta say, Suzaku. I thought Suzaku was just straight dead. That matchup, I think Suzaku didn't really have a chance. I think he played fantastically to come that close to winning. Okay, here we are. Suzaku versus Victor. We're on Orbit, picked by Suzaku. And Suzaku is playing Jade, so I suspect we'll see Jade Laser Drone. Obviously, have to wait and see. And Victor playing a Seth deck, which I like a lot. I think Seth is fantastic on this map. I think it's a very good aggro map, and I think Seth is the best aggro commander. So yeah, big fan of Seth here. I like seeing Nod as well. I like Nod a lot on Orbit. And there it is. There are the decks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Fnatic aggro versus the classic Jade deck. I think Suzaku's got the deck advantage.
Yeah,
for
sure. Chem's crush. Although having said that, I would say before the last balance patch, this would go heavily in favor of Suzaku. But Chems don't beat wheels anymore. Now, that means you have to support your Chems with laser drones to fight the wheels. Which, if you can do it, you'll win easily. But this is a map where everything's spread out, so you will often have a Chem left on its own. Like, a Chem will be forced to go and fight on its own somewhere, and then it is vulnerable to wheel pressure, because Chems don't crush them as much as they did anymore. But having said that, the Fnatic deck is very bad against Chems, so I do agree with you. I do favor Suzaku still.
Well, let's see if that comes to pass. So the laser drones just destroy those wheels. He decides to leave one up to PopCap, but just a little bit. A little bit of a savage play from Suzaku, but smart one nonetheless.
You can see how that Chem Warrior is almost dead. Like, before the patch, I think that Chem Warrior would still be, like, pretty healthy in this scenario. And those wheels would have died much sooner.
It was a pretty significant nerf. It went from 15 damage per shot to 10, which is a 33% nerf. So, yeah, that is quite a bit. And, yeah, if it does swing the matchup over to the wheels, then that's going to be an important difference in this match. But we got a set triple on that bottom left. Isn't going to be quite enough, though. Lasers do get to the far right. Should clear those laser drones, but the top pad needs to be taken up, and then Chem Warriors are going to block, but no wheels do get on there. Will the single wheels win against these Chem Warriors? That is the question. So these laser drones aren't going to be able to clear the
1v1, the Chems still win, I think. We'll find out, but you can see how the wheels do a lot better than they previously did. Yeah, they've almost...
Oh, they do,
yeah. Yeah, they do way better than they used to. Laser drones do come in and finish the fight, though. Those laser drones, man, they're so good.
They are
so good versus Nod. It's so hard for Nod to fight laser drones.
But good fight here from Suzaku, and he does manage to overtake the pads, and there we go. Now first missile under his belt, and this means that we're going to see a Chem base rush, I expect. Yeah,
I mean, Suzaku definitely has that available to him as an option now. You can see the wheels perform better against the Chems, but Nod is just so weak to laser drones. Like, Banshee is the only unit in Nod's arsenal that isn't terrible versus laser drones. Like, well, Banshee and lasers, but obviously Chems deal with lasers. So, like, Phantom is just too expensive. You need to kill 5 laser drones to make back the cost of the Phantom. And as you see, Suzaku just won't make laser drones whilst there's a Phantom on the field.
No kidding. Yep.
And Suzaku is pop-capped on these wheels as well. He's going to try and go for the base rush, I think, whilst Victor is pop-capped. Victor needs to use these, like, small wheel squadrons to block. He's trying to do it, but it's tough, man. It's not a good fight for him.
He did manage to get it there with the 2 wheels in the tank, and however, Suzaku just really needs to keep pressuring Victor, and Victor's being thrown off the pads at the moment. So,
yeah, that's the issue. Victor has to concede map control to, and there goes the Phantom finally, and immediately Suzaku makes 2 laser drones as soon as the Phantom goes down.
Yep. So the Scorpion tank on the bottom left is about to lose to these laser drones, so he pulls it back, and it's in such low health that it's a bit of a liability, as Phantom is about to reload and will take care of these laser drones, but not before the laser drones get the tank. So not great for Victor, and now he needs to get onto these
second
pads.
Phantom, that's got to be a misclick.
Oh, Oh, is he going to make it? Oh, he gets onto the pad. Will be a flip? No, it's not going to be a flip. Of course, the Central Blood does get onto that bottom or top pad. Is he going to move it on in time for the wheel before it gets hosed down? But it's so close, so close. Actually, he does manage to clear that right pad. However, he's on the top pad. No, he does dead on there with the Phantom. Bikes will hold against it, though. Flamethrowers do clear the Chem Warriors, so that's going to be okay. And we're going to see a bit of a stalled game for a moment. The Chem Warriors, I think they'll win against the Scorpion tank
they'll beat the tank.
on that bottom left.
I think Suzaku's got it. He's got all 3 pads now.
Yeah, Suzaku's got this.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I think there, Suzaku had the deck advantage, and yeah.
Yep.
That was pretty much all that happened there. Like, not just is so bad versus laser drones, and it's really hard to beat chems as well, so.
We didn't even really see Fanatics come out throughout that game, so.
No, we saw a few Fanatics, but not very many, because you just can't walk them into chems. They do nothing against defensive chems.
It is nice to see a GDI versus Nod matchup, though. I'm excited for that.
Alright, so we've got. So, Suzaku's playing the same deck as. Very similar to the deck he played on Open Water, but he's swapped the Slingshot for Pitbull, and he's swapped the Sandstorm for Borka, which is going to be a big deal because Victor is on the Giga deck again. So, that Orca Bomber makes a huge difference. Now he actually has an out to a Giga Cannon. So, I think Suzaku's going to be heavily favored here. It's going to come down to whether or not Victor can. Like, even if you stealth tank a Borka, it's very hard to stop it dropping some number of bombs. And Giga Cannons go down pretty easily, so
yeah,
it's
Giga
very
Cannon
hard
doesn't
to
have a ton of
stop
health, so
yeah, it's very hard to stop a bomber from killing your Giga Cannon with Stealth Tank. Inferno you can do it, but Orca Bomber is just an outrageous unit.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so I think you're right about that. I think that's probably what we're going to see. Giga Cannons are going to be decent against Suzaku, so but like you said, the Orca Bomber, once it gets out and starts getting value, it's going to be real tough. Even with a Stealth Tank one-shotting it, it may not work out, but let's see. So Chem Buggy coming out, it's going to clear that middle pad with the bikes to support. And this may mean that the first missile goes to Victor. Pretty classic for Nod to win the first missile anyways against GDI.
Yeah.
This slow-moving Predator tank might be able to get on there. In fact, the missile's not going to be going off in quite enough time. The sniper's going to clear the lasers, and I don't think the bike's going to last long enough. Can this Chem Buggy get in position and block? And it does.
Just about.
Wow, that was close.
I think Victor went in a tiny bit too early with the Chem Buggy, or when he went in with the Chem Buggy, he should have made sure he was charging at the same time, because then that missile would have fired sooner, and he gave Suzaku enough time to get back into it. He didn't quite manage it, but it was close. A little close for comfort.
Close, yep.
Alright, so here comes the first Giga from Victor. This is obviously his win condition.
Yep.
So I think
is going to clear the tank, and let's see what happens. All right, now Bork is going to come out.
Doesn't quite clear the tank, and that's a big deal playing against Liang. That tank could get healed up fully. Oh, he does take it out. All right, nice. Here's the first Borka. Oh, this is not good for Victor. He moved the Chem Buggy forward, sees the Borka. Very nice split. Only loses 1 unit to it. Oh no! The stealth tank! Oh, dear, that's huge. That's all his money. That is absolutely disgusting. Oh, and here comes the Borka again. Stealth tank down. Victor has no money. This is second missile for Suzaku very easily because of that stealth tank. He just couldn't afford that loss.
But yeah, there we go.
He couldn't afford that loss at all.
Oh boy, so bikes get boosted, clear the landing drone, but it's not enough. He's not on any of the pads.
At all.
And there we go.
Now it's going to be really hard for Victor to come back. He needs to clear this Borka somehow, but now the Borka's going to spend all its time hanging out behind missile troopers.
We may see something brilliant from Victor here. He is a very, very good player, of course, having trudged through his way to the finals. He's no slouch, so maybe, just maybe, he can turn things around in this third missile. But losing that stealth tank, the Giga, and the Chem Buggy all in one fell swoop was such a huge loss, and he's really going to rely on what he's got left to win this matchup.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, this Giga Cannon's doing some nice work, but here comes triple Borka. Very nice play from Victor. He's managed to trigger all 3 of them with a single rifle squad. They're all reloading, and they killed Suzaku's reinforcements. He cleans up
He's
one.
got a window here.
He's going to clean up a second.
Come on, get it. Oh, there it goes.
This is
so
really nice play. Really nice play from Victor. He didn't finish it. Why didn't he finish it? Oh no, Victor, why?
Savage.
Oh, it's going to be so close. These stealth tanks could do it. The Borkers have killed all the missiles. The stealth tanks could do it.
Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to clear the middle
it's so close.
He's block it. No, he's got this. Oh,
I think he's going to take it.
Oh my god.
Oh, insane. Insane play from Victor. What a hero. Oh my god. That one rifleman triggered all 3 Borkers. And that bought him so much time. That was amazing. Such good play, Victor. Holy god. Oh my. Jeez. Alright, here we are, guys. Match point. We're on Suzaku's map pick of Blind Spot. Suzaku's map pick of Blind Spot. Match point for Victor. He's 3-2 up. Obviously, we're actually at 2-2 in games played, but Victor was the winner of the winners bracket, so he has a free win. If he wins this one, he does take home first place. So yeah, it's Suzaku's map pick on blind spot. Suzaku's got to take this one to keep it going. And Suzaku is playing Jade, so I imagine we'll see the Jade laser drone deck. That's what he almost always plays when he's playing Jade. And yep, that is exactly it. And Victor's got a Sniper Borka deck. I gotta say, both players with a comfort deck, but I think Suzaku's deck is way better on this map. Way better. I think Snipers are garbage on this map.
Yep.
Like, Borka is good, obviously, but like Slingshot and Sniper are both kind of garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna heavily favor Suzaku for this one. But we thought Suzaku had got that last one locked up, so
yeah, exactly right. We may see something very different come out in this game. These two players are very good, so it isn't always been the deck that's been the decider. Although it has been, having that advantage really helps at this point. But yeah, you never really know. I'm a little surprised not to see Hammerhead from Victor though. I'm really surprised to see Slingshot instead.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, especially on this map. I'm really surprised to see Slingshot. Really surprised.
But let's see what happens. All right, Predator Tank comes out. Of course, the bikes move way, way faster, so they just boot out of the way, and we're almost charged into this first missile. We're seeing a bit of stalling going on, but Victor does get onto that bottom pad. He's got the snipers to support, but doesn't get the block on the bikes.
Doesn't get the block.
And now the bikes get on there, and here we go. So the War Dogs are about to go down. Snipers do get on there.
There it is. There it is.
Ranger doing what it does best. Bikes can't clear the snipers, and that gives the Victor the first missile.
So miserable.
Right? Oh my god.
Oh, I hate Liang. I mean, to be fair, Suzaku's trying to Jade base but bomb people, so it's equally, if not worse. But yeah, seeing Liang drone stealing pads just like hurts my soul every time.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It shouldn't do that. I mean, it's clearly broken because the fact that it takes no pop cap.
Yeah, no pop cap, instant spawn, flying, moves fastest. Yeah, it's disgusting. Ooh, Suzaku goes for
down.
Interesting. Pretty aggressive cap missile there.
Yeah, he could have dealt with it with the bikes, but I guess Mel just wanted the insurer to take it down, so he does. But another Slingshot comes out, so it didn't really do much at all.
I don't think Suzaku's even made an air unit yet. Like, these Slingshots keep coming out as preemptive plays, but I don't think Suzaku is even making air. Probably because of the Slingshot, but yeah, maybe Victor's okay with that.
All right, so now we're coming down to the second missile. Can Victor take it and win the series? Borka coming out is going to be able to do some really good work against those Chem Warriors, and the bike is going to hold as well. Almost clears his own Predator Tank, but doesn't, just getting it out of the way in time, clearing the far right pad, and now he's got this. Victor's got this. He is the
Suzaku! Oh, man.
Amazing.
All right, well, there it is, guys. Pretty clean victory for Victor on that last one. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, well played, Victor. That game before was absolutely outrageous. That one was less interesting. Victor kind of crushed it, but well played, Victor. And there it is, guys. Victor takes it home. First place for Victor. Very big congratulations. Suzaku takes second place. Also, congratulations to Suzaku. And yeah, I guess that'll be it from us today. Congrats to Victor. Wins the December Coliseum. And yeah, thank you, Jeffrey, for casting. And I think we're all wrapped up here.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Blade. As always, I think the fact that you're supporting the competitive scene is huge. Putting on these kind of events is no small feat. Like you said, there was a lot of people involved in making this happen, and big hats off to all of the people that were involved to put this out. I think it's been a really great tournament, and I hope the viewers enjoyed it as well. Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. And like you say, a lot of people behind the scenes who we talked about before the finals. But yeah. Thank you, everyone who makes these things possible. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for us. So thank you, Jeffrey, and I'll see you later, my dude. You bet. See you later, Blade.